What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another Forward Progress live watch along right here, part of the Hammer Betting Network, and presented by FanDuel. I'm Rob Pizzola. I'm here with you tonight for the entirety of Cowboys and Buccaneers. Hopefully a good game. It's a lot easier to do these when they're a little bit entertaining. Now, of course, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. At this point, the season is a lost cause. I'm personally rooting for the under tonight. Just a quick market breakdown here before I get into the props. We've seen the Bucs catch a little bit of steam leading up to game time today, pushing out to 4.5 at a lot of books. Total has been bet all the way down to 47. That's pretty much across the market right now. I made my case for this on Forward Progress on Wednesday, the best bet show, when we talked about Tampa Bay Dallas right at the end. Thought 48.5 was a little bit too high. I'm happy with the CLV. I'd be happier with a win. Today was very interesting from a CLV perspective. A lot of the totals that steamed did really well. A lot of the sides that steamed did not, but such is life. Nothing major going into the game tonight. That's a big unknown. That's going to drastically shift the course of this point spread going into tonight's game. So not really much to break down from that point of view. Seeing a lot of love for McMillan. McMillan! No one has any idea what I'm talking about. A lot of love for McMillan in the chat tonight. Let's start with three props that I like for tonight's game, and then we will get into the SGP. On the Tampa Bay side of things, Cade Otton out. This creates opportunity for the game. We don't have a huge sample size of Cade Otton being out with this offense and this offensive coordinator. So we have to do some guesswork. And some people are thinking McMillan is an option. I totally get why, and I see that. I'm going to go Payne Durham over in receiving yards. I'm going to play that for 3/4 of a unit. His number across market is in the 17.5 range. Checked it right before we came on. Payne Durham over 17.5. That's $75 will do for this particular play. Again, part of the handicap here is looking for that safety valve that Baker loves to look for whenever he faces pressure. Ordinarily, it was Otton. Now it's Durham in that spot tonight. But I do expect Dallas to get pressure in this game. I'm going over on his receiving yards at 17.5. Sticking in the exact same market, I'm going under on Bucky Irving at 18.5 receiving yards. Bucky Irving is a very dynamic player, but he is not in the game on a lot of the pass catching downs, which is a problem when you're looking for receiving yards. And he generally just does not command enough targets for this type of number to exist, in my opinion. I think we're a couple yards too high here when we're talking about yardage totals that are in the upper teens. A couple yards is a lot. Same thing here, $75. Bucky Irving under 18.5. receiving yards minus 110. As always, I suggest you shop these across the market. Every little piece of value does matter, but FanDuel does have respectable numbers in both of these markets so far. And we're going to actually stick with a third receiving yardage prop, but we're switching over to the other team. Person who has been seeing increasing snap counts as he's come back to the lineup and gotten healthier and healthier is Brandon Cooks for the Dallas Cowboys. I like his receiving yardage over. You can play all the way up to 30. Every yard counts, like I said. Saw some 27.5, some 28.5s. We're going half unit on Brandon Cooks over receiving yards. And this is purely snap count based and how the Cowboys have been utilizing their wide receiving core. But he is out there a lot. There is likely a trailing game state here for Dallas, at least at some point, being a 4.5 point underdog. So those are going to be the three props, all in the receiving yardage market. I see a lot of the comments in here. Appreciate everyone who has thrown one in. I'll get to as many things as possible before we start the stream here. Rico Dowdle to have 70+ rush yards and 1+ touchdown at 156. I'm not in love with Dowdle in the rushing game today. Not saying it can't happen. Prefer him in the receiving game. We'll get to that in 1 second. Baker anytime TD. Yes, but price dependent, right? We'll go through the anytime touchdown market in 1 second. So I'm going to build an SGP here that I'm going to give you 2 of 3 legs. and then you can decide on the third. This is kind of unusual, what I'm doing in this game, but I think that there's two players that have significantly high upside. Now, you can play these props just on their own if you would like, instead of throwing them in an SGP. That's totally fine with you, with me, excuse me. Do whatever you want to do with your own money. Let's start with Payne Durham, and let's go 3+ receptions. It's an alternate receiving market for Payne Durham, 3+ receptions. That's going to be leg number 1. Again, I'm purely looking for upside. Jason, in the alt market. Yep. Perfect. Purely looking for upside. I think there are scenarios, no matter what, whether the Bucs are trailing or leading, where Durham gets looks. Second thing, Mike McCarthy has been creaming his pants when he talks about Rico Dowdle in the passing game this week. If you've read any of the Cowboys quotes, McCarthy is very excited. We're going Rico Dowdle 25+ receiving yards. It's in the alternate based off of coach speak, but they had Hunter Lupke running a lot of these routes earlier on in the year, and he is no longer running a lot of these routes. That's where we're going on both of these. Forget about, again, forget about what the depth chart says. I'm looking at coach speak over the course of the week whenever you have a key injury. And I'm expecting, unless I've been misled, Payne Durham to see a bunch of the field. Finally, the way that I'm going to play this is play an alternate spread on the Cowboys, Dallas -2.5. However, you can just as easily play an alternate Bucs spread if you want, or throw in anything else, honestly. This does not have to be a super correlated or inverse correlated parlay. This is one of those where you can just put together some things that have upside in this particular game. And that's the way that I'm opting to play it. Yes, they have O'Keefe. Yes, they have Devin Culp. I think Payne Durham's going to get the majority of the run at tight end for them today. Of course, if you didn't use your parlay boost from today on FanDuel, you have it for tonight's game. You can boost it even more. Dionysus says, I got Mike Evans over 70.5 early in the week. Line is 83.5 now. I know Hitman liked the under here at post. And to be honest, I was considering it. Had it not steamed a few yards before I came to air, probably would have also given out Mike Evans under on the show today. But such is life. Anytime touchdowns. Levi says, Rob, can I steal your thunder? I love Baker TD at +600. You can steal my thunder. I totally get why. It's not really where, you know what? Down to 550 now, right? Yeah. That is a pretty fucking good price, I will say, even now that it's off the 6-1. That's pretty good. Sterling Shepard +370 is solid. I don't like Sterling Shepard, but I do expect some 3 wide receiver sets, Evans, McMillan, Shepard tonight. We've seen Shepard on the field, down in goal line situations. I think these are the two options if you're looking for Tampa Bay. On the Dallas side, I kind of like Luke Schoonmaker as a long shot. 13-1 right now. Talked about him last week, but yes, Ferguson is back and has been for a while. They still use Schoonmaker quite a bit, and he does see red zone snaps as well. So those are the 3 players right now that I see as being valuable bets. Obviously, you're going to scale according to the odds available to you. Schoonmaker, as an example, something like 1/10 of a unit. As we work up towards Baker, we start to go maybe 1/5 of a unit, and Sterling Shepard, likely 1/4 a unit along those lines. Hunter Lupke, 25-1. The problem is Lupke's kind of out of the passing game right now. Seems like the coaching staff really trusts Rico Dowdle quite a bit. I'm off of Loopkey at this point. Again, everything relative to price, but I don't know. Tampa's really tough to figure out for today. Kate Otten throws a wrench in everything. That's usually good for someone in the alternate market. I just wouldn't play Mike Evans. That's not to say Mike Evans can't have a big game, but if you're going to play him on alts, he needs to have a monster game. Whereas someone like McMillan, Shepard, Trey Palmer, Payne Durham, it's a lot more viable for these types of guys. So that's where I would go with that. YouTube banned a bunch of bots today. Subsequently, we lost 50 followers, subscribers here on Forward Progress. If you are watching live now and you're not subbed, help us get back over 8,000 subs. We're making that push towards 10,000 in 2025. Please take 2 seconds, subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy the content. You can set notifications for content, and if you don't want to, you can turn them off, and you won't be bothered. I promise. Also, smash that like button down below if you haven't already. Goes a long way for YouTube's algorithm sending this out to other people in the chat, in the YouTube verse, I should say. In the YouTube verse. All right. Before I bring on Clive here, I just want to see if there's been a data update yet, so that when we preview next week's games, I can do so with some updated data. Right now, doesn't look like that's the case. Hopefully we get some in the early going. Anyone have any other questions before we get to the game? I'm on Kieft first TD 25-1. And now that I've seen this and I didn't bet it, I am going to have the FOMO of, you know what, though, I'd take the anytime. But if you do want to go 90-1 first, I don't hate it. John Weedman says, got to blame Jason for the bot subscribers. I blame Jason for everything, not just the bot subscribers. Quite literally everything. Quite literally everything. All right. It was a good day for me. It's been a decent year. Can't really complain. Some shit bets, some good bets. Overall, any day in the green, I'll take it. Most importantly, the Wednesday best bet won, which trying to track down Hitman before the season's end. I think I'm going to get there. I think I will. Let's recap the day. Let's look ahead to next week's lines. Clive Bixby, live from Dronesville, USA.
Fucking cold, too. I hope the cold's just knocking those little things out of the air. It's like 15 degrees. It sucks.
Yeah, so I'll do the conversion now. I'm sorry I don't speak Fahrenheit because I'm like on the rest of the world. I'm a little bit colder here today. I'm at about 10 Fahrenheit. But I've pumped the heat in the house, and this office right now is a stage 5 roast. I am sweating profusely. It is real challenging. It is real challenging. Before we get into it, I'm going to pick a fight.
With me?
Not you.
Oh, okay.
With my guy, Ekshesh. We need new guys on Wednesday, Rob. I got you guys at 33%. Ekshesh has been dropping his best bet in the chat. I've noticed he's lost the last 4 weeks. I don't know what it was before that, but I'm just going to say these haven't even been coming close. Lions under today, Panthers last week, Bengals the week before. I pay attention. I see you people. Can't call others out when the performance is not the best. All honestly too, like the best bet style, it's going to go next year because it's kind of lame. I'll be honest. We just we're trying to hit certain keywords, but I think the show has performed a lot better overall than just the best bets. It is what it is, but I'm not going to take shit here on my own show. That's what I'm not going to do.
Not in the holiday season, that's for sure.
I'm in the spirit of giving shit to other people in the chat. That's what I'm in the spirit of.
Giving out gifts.
That's it. How was your day today?
I think I was down like a unit and a quarter this week, something like that. Nothing bad. This was a low volume week for me, though, honestly. we did well for what we did last Sunday, but I'm almost never making bets on Sunday for the next week. I'm normally waiting, a couple days.
Mm-hmm. I made a game day bet today on the New England Patriots, and it worked out. I don't like game day bets, but when I see half of a defense being out, I think the total got steamed through the roof. By the way, that's actually a good starting point because we gave that out on the show last week. Drunken Goon says winning Buffalo total by the hook, pushing 49ers total from last Sunday night. Pretty sure that was early Xmas. Abnormally dissed. Surprised the number mattered and that Bills over. Yeah, closed well above. I mean, it was 44.5 we gave out. It was 46.5 this morning. And I believe it closed 48 today.
48 at some spots. Yeah, 40 juice 47.5. Yeah, it moved a lot, justifiably so. What did you get the Patriots at this morning? Was it 14 or did you take a juice 14.5?
14. Didn't get a good price. So this was what was unusual to me was as soon as Buffalo's final active roster announcement came in and we saw who was missing today, immediately that over got bet. But I guess no one just was willing to bet New England in that game. At that point, I was like, I have to get involved here. I got to take the 14, which I did. But yeah, I mean, overall, the numbers end up mattering. I mean, people, we joke about it all the time, and it's not going to matter for every single game. But if it turns one loser into a winner, that's one extra winner.
Well, yeah, it depends on how much you're trying to get down each one of these games too, right? Like if you're trying to get down, huge numbers, then you got to wait till later in the week. But if you're betting 100 game, even, I mean, a lot of books take 4-figure hits on Sunday if you're even there. So take advantage of the good numbers.
Yep. I'm with you on that. Arizona, Carolina over got to the window for me, even though I had to oddly sweat that one out late. When it looked like the scoring had stopped. Got Cincy early on the DTR stuff. That didn't look good for a while. Also looked like backdoor was looming for Cleveland for a bit. That was ugly. Las Vegas in the pick'em range was nice. Ended up losing the Falcons over by the hook. Not deserving of getting that. Definitely not. 2 pick sixes. Still couldn't cash the over. Lost San Fran as well. Which, I mean, I don't really regret it. Got a great price. And honestly, the game was pretty even.
Yeah, it's like 6 yards of play for each team. I didn't see what success rate was. Penalties were an issue for San Francisco, and that last second touchdown screwed a teaser for me, but that shit happens. Not last second, last drive.
Jonas Weiss says, hammered Commanders 900 live when I saw Hurts didn't know where he was. Yeah, that was a good one. Also won Falcons up to minus 26.5. That sounds like a great day. Sounds like a very smart and great day as first half is getting underway here for Dallas. I'll count down the play clock as I see it, just so everyone can sync up, and then we'll start looking at next week's games as they start to populate on the screen across the board. All right, play clock is at 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, and game is underway with a short pass over the middle. All right, Clive, before we break down next week's games, I do want to remind people out here, make sure you're betting the NFL season on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. We advocate for FanDuel, not only because they're a sponsor of this program, but because they're actually a really good sportsbook. Very fair, gave great limits on props, great product altogether. And right now, all customers get a profit boost every single NFL game day. That means you can pump up your gridiron winnings multiple times a week. If you didn't use your same game parlay profit boost token for today's slate, we got another one tomorrow night for Monday Night Football. It's the Catch a Pass profit boost token. We'll use that during the show. FanDuel has tons of ways you can get in on the action. You can bet money line spreads, player props, and more. Plus, with super simple live betting, lightning fast bet settlement, instant withdrawals, FanDuel makes betting on the NFL easier than ever before. Just visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to download FanDuel today. You must be 21 plus and present in select states or 18 plus and present in DC. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. And as Jason pointed out here in the chat, you can still use your Profit Boost token live tonight if you would like to, as the Cowboys pick up a early first down. Interesting schedule for next week because we got the Christmas Day Netflix games. We got the Thursday games. We got the Saturday games. We got the Sunday games. We got a Monday game. It is a lot of football coming up over the course of the next week. What are you doing? Like Christmas Day, are you watching NFL?
I will be. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Way better than talking to family and whatnot. So yeah. I would assume same for you, right? I mean,
yeah, I got Christmas Day lunch at my in-laws, and I'm gonna have to get away from that table early. Like I'll do the early lunch and maybe miss the first quarter of KC Pittsburgh or something like that, and then settle in for the second half. It's got to be the experience. That's if Netflix holds up for the game, by the way.
That's what I'm worried about. Worried's a strong word, but that's what I mean, after the fight, the Paul Tyson fight, I think Christmas Day viewing is going to be pretty high volume.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll see how much people actually hate their families enough to watch football on Christmas.
Are we doing a show the day before for props or anything? Have we decided?
In all likelihood, no.
Okay.
It's too tough right now. Holiday season, people are traveling, all that jazz, you know?
Wednesday's a tough day too for like, it's literally for football, the worst day of the week to have Christmas on if you want to have games.
Dude, I was getting injury, like first practice reports today I'm like, what the, like, it just throws off the schedule completely. Off the schedule completely. All right, let's start with the first game on Christmas Day. It is the Kansas City Chiefs visiting Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Early market here at FanDuel is Chiefs -2.5, -105. We do have a bunch of twos out in market right now. Total in the game, 43.5, juiced towards the under. Now, obviously, got to talk injury news when it comes to both of these teams. We don't know if George Pickens will be active with his hamstring injury. This will be
week 4, right?
He's been inactive since week 14. So this will be the 4th week.
Yeah.
But it is a midweek game. So it's going to be up in the air. The Steelers were also missing players in their secondary. Dante Jackson missed this game. Deshaun Elliott missed against the Ravens. And Joey Porter left with it looked like a calf injury, but the team's calling it a knee injury now. So there's a lot going on the Steelers side. And on the Chiefs side, DJ Humphries, their left tackle, was inactive last week. The right tackle, Jawan Taylor, left with a knee sprain. Chris Jones had a calf strain in the game on the defensive line. So there's like a lot to process in this particular game. And for me, Clive, like when we have injuries like that, that's enough to keep me off of the early market here.
Oh, for sure. Once you start getting into those cluster kind of situations, it gets way too difficult. I know sometimes we talk about regrets or things that we're glad we didn't take. Me not betting the Ravens this week was something that I am disappointed that I didn't do.
So I bet the Ravens, but I didn't bet them harder because there was like this Rashad Bateman's in a walking boot type. I got to tell you, like the information that's out there nowadays for NFL sometimes can be really bad. And Bateman was 100% fine this week. And that was with Aguilar out and the potential of Bateman being out, they would have had pretty much no wide receiving core. The Steelers have come back down to earth. Let's call it off for what it is.
No Deontay Johnson? Where was he?
He's skipping practice and the team doesn't want him anymore. As a 58-yard field goal from Aubrey goes looks like it would have been good from 70 right down the pipe. So 3-0 Dallas to start this game. I have some thoughts on this, which are, I think I'm going to end up on the Chiefs in this game in some capacity. Now, it is a nightmare to think of Watt, Highsmith, Herbig against these tackles for Kansas City. Similar to the way that it was a nightmare going up against Houston's defensive line with Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter on the outside. Like, that's a big mismatch. Hollywood Brown brings a new element to the offense here. The passing game looked very succinct for the Chiefs, and it wasn't like, again, they still don't have the downfield passing game, but having Hollywood Brown there to complement Hopkins and Worthy makes that Chiefs offense so much better. I don't know what the timing is going to be on this. Obviously, there's a lot of work, moving parts, Clive, with the injuries, but it's a game where the Chiefs have to win, essentially. And you know what they're very good at doing? Winning.
Yeah. They might not cover the big numbers outside of a touchdown, but, everything inside of 3, it seems like they cover one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, the offensive line stuff keeps me off the Chiefs more than it probably should. If anything, I'm kind of thinking about the under here as well, rather than a side if I was to pick something early. But again, with all these injuries, I'm going to be waiting.
I honestly think I'm more likely to end up on the over than the under in this game.
Okay.
I don't know that I will. But Pittsburgh's offense is still stuck in the mud. If Pickens ends up going, they can create some explosives on the Chiefs defense. Chiefs defense it's not what it was in years past. Like, there's very targetable players in the secondary. I don't know. I very likely will bet this game in some capacity when this all plays out, but KC seems like the most likely outcome for me, provided that it's not just, okay, Humphreys out at left tackle, Jawan Taylor out at right tackle, Chris Jones out on the defensive line. Then I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? No thanks at that point.
Yeah, no, that's all fair.
All right. Second game that day, the other two teams that played on Saturday this week, it's the Ravens at the Texans. Early market here, as you see up on your screen, Baltimore -3.5, pushing out to 4 at FanDuel. It's pretty much flat across the rest of the market, whereas the total in the game is 47.5. Also, injuries to talk about for this game. The first injury report came out. Zay Flowers was on it for the Ravens today. Harbaugh spoke and seemed like he was very optimistic that Zay Flowers would be able to play in this game. Justice Hill has a concussion. He's going to be out for this week. Keaton Mitchell might be back for Baltimore in this game. On the other side, Houston lost Tank Dell, which is a real problem because obviously Stephon Diggs is on IR as well. John Mechie was out this past week. So they're dealing with it at wide receiver at the current moment. Does this total seem a little high to you?
Maybe a smidge. Just a little bit. What did we close at for Baltimore, Pittsburgh?
7. Oh, the actual total.
Yeah.
Don't have it up in front of me. I'll check it out really quickly.
That's all right. I definitely don't.
We closed at 44.5.
Yeah, this does seem a smidge high.
The Texans' offense sucks.
And
they've just lost another dynamic player. I don't. The Ravens have pretty strong run defense. I think this total's high. I mean, it's in line with where these teams have been priced this year from a total perspective, but I'm very high on the Houston defense. Maybe relative to market, I would say I'm a little bit higher on the Houston defense. Very smart defensive head coach in DeMeco Ryans. And I just can't get past how bad this Houston offense looks at the current moment. I think anything north of 47 is good to the under here.
Yeah, I think so too. And I also agree with what Exesh said. I think 3.5, even heavily juiced, might be too little too.
Yeah. I probably I'm less excited about that, but I would tend to agree in the early going here. I like the
Yeah.
Ravens, man. I do. That Zay Flowers news you really got to watch though, because that would be extremely impactful.
Yeah, but so on the Houston side of the ball offensively, right? Like when they keep getting themselves in 3rd and long, and now they're without Tank Dell too. That's a pretty tough sell, for me.
It really is. Lots of people in the chat talking about betting the look ahead here. I don't blame you for getting that. RJ Bell, bet Baltimore -1.5 look ahead, looking like a great number right now. Yeah, this is. I'm more inclined to bet the under here, but I do agree with people on the Baltimore look as well. Have to see how that plays out a little bit more. All right, that's 2 games down. Many more to go. We got Thursday Night Football, a game I will be on air for. On Boxing Day in Canada. I know you don't celebrate Boxing Day in the United States of America.
We do not.
What do you guys, what is the 26th for you? You guys do anything on the 26th?
No, typically not. This year I'm flying. I'm heading out to Texas. I'm going to the Alamo Bowl. So going to go see BYU, Colorado. Check out Coach Prime.
Yeah.
But
Actually sounds awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
But typically day after Christmas, no, not at all. Work off the gym. Work off what I ate the day before at the gym. That tends to be the morning.
We've talked about 2 games so far. KC's been hit on the money line, and Baltimore Houston getting hit now. It does pay to watch this show in real time, I will say. It's provided we win, of course. No, we are usually going to get you a good number. I think we're usually going to get you a good number.
Yeah, and based on the recaps that we started, or that Caustic started doing, we're ahead.
Mm-hmm. We already got our first Payne Durham catch as well. 1 for 7. Jalen McMillan's 1 for 14 as well. Thursday Night Football. We got the Seattle Seahawks at the Chicago Bears. Seahawks -3, -118 at FanDuel. That's pretty consistent across the market. Only one book has posted a 3.5 juice towards the Bears. And the total in the game, 42.5 juice to the under at FanDuel. That's one of the higher numbers I see. We do have some 41.5 out there right now. Seahawks, Bears, early market. What are you thinking here, Clive?
Under. That's my first thought. I didn't see a lot of the Bears game today. What I saw of it was mostly Lions highlights, which were plentiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Bears are they're poorly coached. They are. I don't want to say. I mean, somebody just said in the chat, let Levi. They're a dead team. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I don't like to. So we're into the second last week of the season here, and I know a lot of people are going to avoid betting on teams because of motivational angles, right? They're going to be like, "Oh, this team has nothing to play for." I think that the average bettor tends to overrate those types of angles, especially late in the season.
100%.
Chicago, I don't think that they're necessarily a dead team. I just think that they suck. I just think that they are absolutely awful. You look at today, really could not move the ball on Detroit until they got into garbage game state where they were just getting blown out. They lost their left tackle, Braxton Jones, who was carted off with an ankle injury. They lost Tevin Jenkins, their left guard, with a calf injury. They're missing Ryan Bates on the O-line. I don't know how Seattle doesn't get bet here, honestly. I know Seattle's got to win by margin, but they are so much better as a team than the Chicago Bears right now.
Yeah.
So much better.
And I don't love Seattle either. I mean, Chicago is just really towards the bottom of the barrel. I'm trying to think of how many teams I would really favor Chicago over on a neutral right now, and it's It's not that many. It's maybe 7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb behind that O-line,
Yeah,
it's
it's not a fair evaluation for him either.
I
He
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I know what you're going to say. Like, he's a rookie quarterback and he's being forced to make decisions like this. And this is against a Detroit team, by the way, they don't have pass rushers anymore. It's tough. It's a tough look right now for that Chicago offense. I think Seattle 3 is not right. I think it has to be bet out further than 3.
Yeah, and Zev, uh, uh, he is borderline Jameis Winston. I'm again today. I'm just struggling with these brain dead throws that he makes, especially when he gets down towards the red zone. It's like, what are you doing? Like when you're supposed to protect the ball a little bit more, for fuck's sake.
Seattle, Minnesota today was an excellent football game. Highly entertaining. Both teams going back and forth, making plays. Seattle killed themselves with penalties in that game. 6 yards per play to the Vikings, 4.8. Pretty even game all around when you look at pretty much every metric, with the exception that Geno turned the ball over twice and Darnold didn't turn it over at all. And that makes the difference. But when you're looking at this game in particular, aside from Geno, this being a Geno outdoors game at Soldier Field, which, he's had the propensity to shit his pants in a lot of these outdoor games. I just don't think these teams are even in the same echelon right now. And this Bears team, like, despite firing Eberflus, I think it's only gotten worse for them since then. They're just a disaster of a team.
Yeah, it's the whole organization. I mean, that's nothing new, unfortunately. I think, I'm not rooting for, staff to just lose their jobs, but I can't see not cleaning slate and going with a damn near complete fresh start.
Yep. Agree with you. All right. 3 games on.
Did I miss a big return in the Cowboy game?
No. Tampa went for it on 4th down, and Sterling Shepard dropped the ball where he was wide open over the middle of the field.
Oh, that was 4th. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Okay.
That's the Sterling Shepard experience.
It is.
Sterling Shepard experience. 3-game Saturday. Early game is the Chargers on the road at the New England Patriots. Taking a look at the market in that game. Chargers laying 5.5, juiced slightly towards the Patriots there. Sorry, I'm just looking at the play here. Brandon Cooks wanted to see how many yards that was. 29 yards. It's the importance of getting a half yard versus not. Chargers laying 5.5. Total 43.5. Juice towards the under. That 43.5 right now seems to be an off-market price relative to everywhere else. So I imagine that's going to disappear here shortly. Not saying that I necessarily believe that should. All right, where do we want to start with this particular game? Chargers played on Thursday night, got off to like a horrible start, and then just turned it on in the second half. Herbert's going to have a little bit extra time to prepare from and like recover from that high ankle sprain. That should matter in this particular matchup. It's another step up in class for the Patriots. They handled that well against the Bills today. I got to tell you, Clive, I was actually pretty surprised by how well the Patriots played today.
I was too. I mean, so I had that game on for the full afternoon slate while I had Red Zone on the other TV too. I thought they had a relatively decent offensive game plan. I mean, Mayo's still the worst coach when it comes to making in-game decisions. But in terms of, the way May played and I'll pull up their success rate now, but they looked like a serviceable offense today.
Yeah. So I definitely want to talk about Mayo because I tweeted that he definitely has brain damage or something along the lines of that. And he is horrendous. Like on the same drive, they on 4th and 1 did a fake punt, got a first down, and then on the next 4th and 1, they just decided to punt it away. It's like, what did you even go for the fake punt for to keep possession? They're not even playing for anything. This is what is so embarrassing about the entire situation right now, as Jalen Tolbert looks like he's in the end zone for a touchdown here.
Nice throw.
That was a solid dart over the middle of the field. just reviewing box score numbers from today for both of these, from this week for both these games. New England had the most first downs of any team today with 28. They had a series conversion rate of 81.8%, which is extremely high, especially for the Patriots. The Bills committed 13 penalties. That helped, certainly. But, yeah, I see a 6 out there right now. A sharp book. I kind of would want the New England 6 here.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I liked what I saw from the Patriots today. A lot. I forget who had a poll this week. Like if we were redrafting quarterbacks, like what would it go? What order would it go? Or what would you do? And it was obviously May, Williams, and Daniels. I would have May 1. He would be my first choice of the 3 to start a franchise with.
May is going to get himself at some point a real coaching staff, right? And so
a
is
supporting
Caleb.
cast. Yeah.
And so is Caleb as well. But May has showed the glimpses. Like that O-line stinks, has been terrible all year. He does some stupid things. He made a red zone turnover today. That was classic rookie maneuver. But somebody's going to turn him into like a true dual threat quarterback, and he's going to be nearly unstoppable at that point. Like I'm don't clip this because like I don't want this to be taken out of context, but I see some Josh Allen in Drake.
I was literally just going to say that. He reminds me exactly of that. He seems to have a good idea of when to pull it down and run versus when to throw. I mean, he still misses a couple of reads. He still gets a little aggressive here and there. But it's not the blatant stupidity I'd see from like, a Sam Howell last year. Just holding the ball too long and making bad decisions and some bad throws. He's got a lot of talent. And if you get some people around him, damn.
That 6 on the Patriots just got nuked, by the way. Not surprising. This is going to be a late December home game for New England. It's likely going to be cold, although the temperature in the Northeast here is supposed to go up over the course of next week, so maybe it won't be that bad. I don't know the conditions right now. I will say the 42 feels a little bit low to me for total across the market right now, but I don't really have a desire to back it this early in the week. There's also some defensive injuries for the Chargers that I think people should keep their eye on. Denzel Perryman came back this week and then re-aggravated his groin injury, left the game against Denver. You look at the secondary for the Chargers. Cam Hart was missing this week. Elijah Molden was out. And then Marcus May, who was filling in for Elijah Molden, left with an ankle injury as well. So you got some big defensive injuries on the Chargers side, whereas the New England Patriots are a little bit more healthy. Yeah, that 6 is gone now. But if it resurfaces, I would be interested in New England here and possibly the over. Although that experience today with Gerard Mayo, fucking brutal, man, brutal.
And he's already gotten his vote of confidence for next year. Like at that point, I you got the Tomlin lose by less. Don't be the lose by less guy. Just go out and try and win the football game. I can't stand that. It's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Yep. Interesting. Not a trend guy. I don't know if this is real or not. Not a trend guy, but NFL road favorites are 34-8 against the spread since week 9. That is pretty incredible. Probably doesn't mean anything forward looking. And if it does, I would imagine the market will correct at some point, but that is interesting. 42 game sample of it is interesting. Saturday, Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals have still an outside shot, I think, at the playoffs for this game. Just quickly looking at the playoff picture, Denver about 76% roughly to get in, Bengals at 8%, but this would be a big win for them and what will be a playoff type of atmosphere for this particular game. Bengals -3, -115, total in the game 48.5. Significant injuries in the Bengals game today on the offensive line. So Orlando Brown, their left tackle, was inactive again. He's been nursing this fibula injury. but they lost Amarius Mims on the right side as well, who's their rookie starting tackle. Now, it was an ankle injury. We don't know if it's serious or not just yet, but something to keep an eye on going into this game, because Denver, outside of Riley Moss at corner, is a fairly healthy team right now. Early thoughts here, Clive, on this one.
I mean, the Bengals just still manage to keep games close. Like, I feel like no matter what, the Bengals turn into a sweat for some reason.
Yeah.
What were the numbers like today for success rate versus Cleveland?
Dominant. Cincy 55% success rate, Cleveland 38, and they still let them hang around for most of the game. It's the turnovers that like turnovers kill. I'm looking at this box score, and I don't know how Cincinnati didn't win the game by like comfortably a lot more, honestly.
Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously Cleveland was terrible, but I don't have an initial thought on the side. The total feels high for some reason, but I don't think that it is. I have a hard time taking a Denver game at around 49, and it looks like it's moving up. This is a tough sell for me because I don't love Bo Nix as much as everybody else does either. Not everybody, but the people that do.
My first instinct when seeing this was that everything kind of seems right to me in this range. I would have opened a Cincy 3. I have more interest in betting Denver here because I think there's a very clear path to success against the Bengals defense right now. The Bengals front seven is a disaster, and Cleveland didn't exploit it because DTR is not an NFL quarterback. He's not even a real backup, if we're being honest. But Sheldon Rankins has been inactive for like 5 weeks now. Sam Hubbard didn't play this week. And I know Bengals fans, they like to watch the videos and they're like, oh, Rankins and Hubbard haven't been good this year. It's like, yeah, I know, but like, do you know who the people behind them are? Because they're worse. Logan Wilson has been on IR for them. It's just a disaster of a defense. And the 3 does seem more valuable on the Denver side than even though I don't really believe in them as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll watch the total this week. But in terms of a side, I didn't get any initial instinct one way or the other.
Yeah, no strong opinion here, to be honest. Final game on Saturday night is the Cardinals at the Rams, NFC West matchup. Arizona officially eliminated from the playoffs today. The Rams are leading the division, trying to hold off the Seattle Seahawks. Early market, Rams -5.5. Total in the game, 48.5. Juice towards the over. I watched a lot of both of these teams today. I don't really know how the Rams won, other than it was just like another classic Jets game, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Jets were YOLOing on 4th down today, is what it came down to. And I'm not saying they made the wrong decisions, but the variance like didn't go their way. I don't know exactly what they were on 4th down, 2 for 5 as I pull it up right now. They just couldn't get it into the end zone. The Rams was like very methodical, ran the ball well. Passing game was non-existent, which was a little bit surprising to me in this particular matchup. Arizona, on the other hand, I hate when people say like no show. I just, it's not a good football team all around, and we saw that.
Yeah, and I think that maybe a little bit of stock was put into Arizona being a little bit better than they were a couple of weeks ago, especially their defense. I kind of came off of that. I mean, both you and I instantly reacted for an over in this game. I'm almost thinking that I might have interest in the over in this game upcoming as well on Saturday night. Got to look a little bit more, but I mean, I have no faith in the Cardinals. The Rams didn't really push the ball downfield at all today. It seemed like their average depth of target was super, super low. And they just tried to move the chains. There's no explosives.
There's not. I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I actually am going to likely bet the under in this game. Even though I was in Arizona over today, I mean, we'll see what the James Conner injury looks like, but they basically don't have running backs anymore. Their left tackle, Paris Johnson, missed with a knee injury today. There's a real possibility he might miss next week. I do want to monitor that. Their right tackle, Jonah Williams, missed. He left with a knee injury today as well. I don't have any faith in the Arizona offense to move it on the Rams defense, I think is what it comes down to here.
I could see that. I mean, the Jets did not look great offensively. I mean, they agree with you. They did some YOLO-ish type of stuff in terms of like just fourth down aggressiveness. But they didn't look like anything special either. Like Aaron Rodgers looked like he kind of slowed down a little bit relative to the prior 2 weeks, like physically slowed down.
Yeah, it was just a weird game. It felt like the Jets just couldn't run the ball, which was a big problem for them. And that's where, to me, it's very somewhat easy to predict the Cardinals offense. Can they run the ball successfully? If yes, they will put up points. If no, they're not going to put up points. That's kind of been the state for Arizona for the entire season. And in this particular matchup, I don't love their ability to run the ball, especially if they might be down a couple offensive linemen and onto who God knows who at running back. Like I don't even know who's left on the roster at this point because Trey Benson was out this week as well. DJ Dallas, who looked more like honestly a tight end than a running back when I saw him catch a ball today. So yeah, pretty strong lean to the under here. There's a few 49s out there right now. Yeah,
I mean, this is not something that I would have. This is not something that I would bet tonight. So, but you're harder or you're more conviction in the under. Makes sense.
Of note, and you should always react to new information versus old. But the advanced line in this game was Rams -3. There is definitely a premium on the Rams now because Arizona suffered additional injuries today, but also because they're eliminated from the playoffs. And I mean, this is a Saturday night primetime game, right? I don't think Arizona's just like rolling over. And we see this happen in the NFL every year. Late in the year, some of the best bets are teams that are toast, and everyone just thinks that they're completely done and mailing it in.
Right.
I'd have to think a lot more about that. But if the Rams could continue to get pushed out, there's going to have to be some sort of buyback on the Cardinals or some sort of point of resistance.
Where were you at on Pizza Buffet today? Were you at the Rams a full 3 over the Jets, or
pretty much right on market? Yeah, I when it's weird to me, like when Quinnen Williams got ruled out, which all the news suggested that there was a decent chance he would play on like limited snaps today, but he was going to, give it a go in pregame. There wasn't really much of a market move on him being ruled out.
No, I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't see that either. I can't see myself taking the Cardinals here. I think for me, it's either probably going to be Rams or nothing.
Okay. Sunday slate starts with the Colts headed out on the road to take on the New York Giants. Obviously, the Colts are still alive in the playoff picture, albeit pretty slim, roughly a 13% chance to make the postseason as it stands right now. Early market here, Indy -7.5, -115. Total in the game is 40.5, juiced towards the under. The Giants now control their own destiny in terms of the number 1 pick. And they're just, quite frankly, an awful football team.
Yes, they are. I'm seeing the 7.5 at home to the Colts, and I'm like, wow, where is this franchise?
I think this is going to end up being a pass for me. I think the quote unquote valuable side here is the Giants, but I don't want to do that. Also, Indy had this resurgence in the run game today against Tennessee, who was missing multiple linebackers. The Giants front seven without Dexter Lawrence is just been a shell of its former self, basically. It's tough for me. This isn't the price I would need to bet the Giants, even though I think that, again, they are quote unquote the valuable side. But as it stands right now, I don't want anything to do with this game.
No, this is 2 weeks in a row that I can't believe the number that I'm seeing on the Colts, and I'm like, I don't want the other side at all.
I came this close today to betting the Colts. And honestly, I came this close today to betting the Colts. I watched Tennessee score on a bomb to Calvin Ridley to start the game. And then I watched Anthony Richardson throw a pick in Tennessee territory. I'm like, thank God I fucking dodged this game today. And then before I knew it, it was 38-7. And then, the Titans are mounting this. It was a crazy game. By the way, completely unrelated to betting. Jonathan Taylor's first touchdown today. The guy ran down the tunnel with the ball in his hand. And when he came back, the celebration was so good. He was just holding the ball really tight with a bunch of teammates trying to pull it from him, and he wouldn't give it up, which is obviously, for those that don't know, he dropped the ball at the 1 yard line before scoring a touchdown last week. I thought that was fucking hilarious, man. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. I'm happy the way he handled it, and poking a little fun, but taking it really serious. And he had 2 huge runs today.
Yeah.
But the celebrations were good.
The rushing yardage for the Colts was absurd today. Both Taylor and Richardson, the Titans just could not stop them on the ground. The Giants have no semblance of an offense. 4.3 yards per play today. 58% series conversion rate, negative 0.45 EPA per play. Drew Lock threw 2 pick sixes in the game. It's a disaster of a team. A lot of people talking about Indy teaser legs, and I get that. I totally understand it. You go through 7, you go through 3, valuable numbers. I don't really want to play Indy in that type of position personally, because I view Indy as a very high variance team due to Anthony Richardson, their quarterback, who can have, a very, very bad game on any given week. But I do get that from people.
Yeah, I'll use the Andrew Mack term from Circles Off, volatility. That's what you're going to get with the Colts, and I don't know that that's what you want ideally in a teaser leg.
Yep, agree with you. We'll skip over Saints and Raiders. We'll come back to that if we have time. Obviously, the Saints are in action tomorrow night at Lambeau Field. Oh my God, what a catch by Mike Evans, man! That is a hands catch if I've ever seen one. Holy shit!
That was a fingertips catch.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Jets at Bills. AFC East matchup. Interesting that where FanDuel is relative to market here. So FanDuel has a Buffalo minus 9.5, minus 115. There are 9.5s out there. It's kind of all over the place right now. Some 10 minus 115 out there as well, which is quite a substantial difference on this opener. Total in the game at FanDuel is 47.5, juiced under, which is high relative to market as it stands right now. Bills and Jets. Jets, some significant injuries today. Their left tackle, Olu Fashanu, left. He was seen on crutches after the game. They'll probably be down to a third-string left tackle next week, if I had to guess. Quinton Williams obviously got to monitor his status. In the secondary, Sauce Gardner had a hamstring injury. Tony Adams had an ankle injury. Both of them left the game. The Bills had, a complete cluster on defense in terms of injuries as well. Matt Milano hurt today. Balin Spector left the game. Injuries in the secondary. It's kind of a disaster. Going into this week, Clive, I honestly looked at the look-aheads and I said I'm going to have some interest in the Jets, but now I think I'm off of it with the injury situation going on there.
Yeah, and I know I'm from Jersey. I don't really follow much of the local sports media here. Are we sure that Aaron Rodgers is playing out the rest of the season too?
Good question. For this game, he's not passing up a game in Buffalo to like try to cement his status as a hero.
I guess not. That doesn't seem like that's in his DNA. That's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of he likes being the center of attention. I can't play the Jets at 9.5. I don't think I could play them at 10 either. This total feels a touch high to me.
That might be our second disagreement. Let me take a look at this really quickly here. What do we got? I mean, we're all over the place on the board.
Yeah.
We're all over the place here. The total, well, listen, I'm not playing a Buffalo over. I'll tell you this early in the week. That's not happening. I would probably play this over, though, south of 47 if the weather looks okay. If this is going to be, I mean, again, we gotta monitor the defensive side of the ball for both these teams, but they both came in with some pretty impactful defensive injuries. I'm not buying what the Jets pulled off on defense today. I'm not buying that as the real Jets defense.
No, there's part of me though that doesn't think that the Jets offense is going to exploit anybody either, even with the cluster injuries.
I know the big issue for the Jets is that they just can't run the ball. Like they could not get anything going on the ground today. It seemed like Rodgers had to bail them out a million times, and then they just faltered on fourth down over and over.
And their receivers don't get much separation as it is.
No. I mean, like, it's stupid plays, too. Like, you know, the 4th and 4 really frustrated me for the Jets. It was earlier on in the game, but Rodgers took a shot one-on-one to Devontae Adams in the end zone, and the corner had really good coverage. There was no separation. I mean, Rodgers was kind of picking apart that defense, moving up the field with like these 6 and 7 yard curls and outs. And then, you know, that didn't make a lot of sense to me, that shot. But yeah, it feels like a big number with the Jets, but they fucking always find a way to not cover. They just find a way to not cover.
Yeah, they minimize their scoring whenever possible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible red zone offense too.
Yeah, I agree with you. Dolphins at the Browns is the first game in the late window next week. Dolphins are 5.5 point favorites, 5.5 minus 120 at FanDuel on the road. Some other books are 6.5 right now. So we're all over the place in market. Total 41.5 juice to the under here at FanDuel. I've noticed these FanDuel openers have seemed to be a little bit higher on the totals relative to the rest of the market. This kind of reminds me a little bit of, I have the same feeling about this game as I did Colts and Giants, in the sense that, I mean, I'm going to assume DTR is going to continue to start for Cleveland, and that's just not a viable offense with DTR. But do I want Miami to win by margin? I mean, I guess they can do it, but that wide receiving core right now is rough without Jalen Waddle.
I mean, Jonnu Smith is like pulling down catch after catch after catch. Finally, as a coach, I guess that really knows how to or wants to utilize him in a certain way. But I mean, Dolphins offense looked okay today. Cincy's offense moved the ball plenty fine. I'm actually kind of okay with this number, and maybe I'm down too much on Cleveland, but I think this is going to move out even further.
Yeah, like Cleveland's not a real football team. They're I mean, I'm just thinking about this game right now, but looking at the total yardage numbers for Cleveland today, and they generated 273 net yards. One of the first plays of the game was Jerome Ford breaking one off for 60 yards. And they seem to be moving the ball in garbage time. So, like, I don't even know what they did on the drives in between there, but this is the Cincinnati defense, and they could not generate anything. Like, I'm just going to pull up their possessions really quickly right now. But I mean, yeah, there's I mean, they had drives after the 76-yard first drive. Their next 4 drives are 2 yards, 1 yard, 2 yards, -1, -6, 15. Ugly.
Ron Mexico, Jameis was the emergency quarterback today, so I don't think they would start him if they didn't start DTR.
Yeah. Who was he was emergency. So it was Bailey Zappi was the other dressed starter today.
Yeah.
So Connor says, gotta see weather given Miami's cold weather performances of late. So this is actually a good point because we're going to see a lot of talk about this, right? It's a cold weather game. Dolphins have struggled. Dolphins have struggled against good defenses in cold weather. I don't know whether or not that the Browns qualify as such right now. I don't know. I don't really know what to do with this game early on in the week.
Yeah, it did not surprise me though that even more money came in on the Cincy side later today to get it to close at 10 pretty much everywhere. I get the same vibe here.
Yeah. Assume you just got to wait for a DTR announcement that he's going to start is what it comes down to.
Dallas is really moving the football this game.
They are. They even a few deep shots as well. Got the deep shot to Cooks, deep shot to Lamb. That's a little bit more unusual for the Cooper Rush offense. It's been more underneath for a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, that Lamb ball looked like it was underthrown a little bit too, so I get it.
Yeah. We'll skip over Cowboys Eagles. That's in the late window next week for a few reasons. Cowboys are in play now. Secondly, we have no friggin' clue who's going to quarterback the Eagles in that game. Jalen Hurts concussed today, and Kenny Pickett also had to have an X-ray after the game with a rib injury. Every single team that won the turnover battle this week won their game, with the exception of the Eagles, who had a +3 turnover margin and managed to lose the game because Kenny Pickett was a complete and utter sieve today.
Yeah, that last drop had to be tough as an Eagles backer, though, from Devontae Smith. I mean,
big time. I will say though, as I knew people who bet the Eagles this week, and they love that Devontae Smith drop because it allowed them to move to cover the 3.5 for a portion of the game. Because it was, what was the score at that point? 30-28, Philly.
Yeah, they had a 2-point lead,
and that made it 33-28. So they're laughing, but then Washington just moved methodically down the field. Eagles played way too soft there, by the way.
Yeah,
way too soft, as Cooper just missed Lamb wide open there. Wide open.
Yeah, he kind of panicked, I think, when he saw the rush coming. Even McCarthy's looking up like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Dowdle's at 2 receptions, 18 yards, and Payne Durham's at 2 receptions, 13 yards. SGP is live right now with Dallas -2.5. I'm just going to assume this Aubrey field goal goes in because the guys, I'm not going to jinx it. Not going to jinx it. Right down the pipe. Okay. Sunday night football next week. Oh, we only got 2 games in the late window on Sunday next week. No, Denver. What am I looking at? Yeah. That's ugly, man.
Yeah, it's a weird week with Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday games.
But like our late game options are Dolphins, Browns, and Eagles, Cowboys, potentially with like double backup.
Oh, that's a good point.
Sunday night football, they flexed in Commanders hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Early number here. We'll be on air for this one next week, Clive. 4.5. Washington pushing out towards 5. Total in the game is 46.5. I'm going to have an incredibly challenging time pricing this game because of just it being one Michael Penix start against a very bad defense.
Yeah, I didn't see enough of the Atlanta Giant game today to see anything more than highlights. And looked like he wasn't going to lose Atlanta the game, but he didn't look like he was doing anything particularly, special either. He just looked fine. So I'm wondering where I'd go on the total on this game. Like, it depend on my kind of evaluation of MPJ and what I think he would do.
Yeah, I don't honestly have a great read. I think of both Atlanta and Washington as over teams. Marshawn Lattimore got hurt again today. I think he's in danger of missing next week's game with a hamstring injury. So that's going to hurt the secondary. Although they might get Jonathan Allen back at some point on the defensive line. He's eligible to return off of IR. There was a weird, Drake London left the game. I can't find anything on Drake London right now. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows anything about this situation. I saw a bunch of tweets about people complaining about starting him in fantasy playoffs. Cody says Drake London left and I don't think came back. I haven't seen anything post-game there, so that's going to be one to monitor as well. I just don't think I'm going to have a strong opinion on this game because I don't know how to price the Penix Falcons right now. And honestly, I don't even know if I know how to price the Commanders at this point either.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this on Pizza Buffet earlier. The Falcons defense has kind of slightly turned it around in terms of finding ways to get more pressure as opposed to getting none the first, 10 weeks, what it felt like of the season. Is there anything there, or is that just a little bit of positive defensive variance? I mean, 14 of Atlanta's points today also came from pick sixes. So it's how much do I trust that offense, and is that defense better than I used to think it was?
Well, I mean, here's the problem, right? Since the bye week, it was Chargers. Was that where Herbert got hurt? I'm trying to remember what was going on in that Chargers game. Was McConkey injured? Something happened in that game coming out of the bye week where I think the Chargers offense struggled. Last couple of weeks, it's been Giants and Raiders back to back, deplorable offenses. That's a challenge to evaluate the Atlanta defense. KZ Brown says Penix had 11.9 EPA today. Yeah, but it's not against the real defense. It's almost like it doesn't even matter. Like playing at home versus the New York Giants is going to be very different. I'm playing at the road at Washington, and granted, the Commanders' defense isn't much either, so there's opportunity for success there. But the likelihood that Penix looked better than he is very high.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, facing the Giants at home is probably the near optimal situation to go into.
Mm-hmm.
What were they showing with Baker's footwork there before? Did something happen? Did he limp? Anybody in the chat now?
Like someone could let us know in the chat.
Yeah, because I get no sound, so I can't hear anything.
Yeah. All right. Monday Night Football is the Lions at the 49ers. I thought I was a super smart guy grabbing the 49ers early because I was waiting for the Lions to finally face an offense that I thought was better than the scrubs they've been facing recently. Instead, we're out to an opener of Lions minus 3.5. Total in the game pretty high here, 52.5 FanDuel, 51.5 across the rest of the market. Some pretty significant impactful injuries for San Fran today on the O-line. Jalen Moore, who had been filling in for injured Trent Williams, left the game with an injury. Their left guard, Aaron Banks, left as well with a knee injury that looked pretty serious. It's, I'm looking for the spot to bet against this Detroit defense. And I've just been waiting for it. And I didn't think it was the Bears today. And going into this week, I thought it was going to be the 49ers next week. But now the O-line injuries is just like, it's hard to overcome that. It really is.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And the look ahead was, what did you get for the look ahead, Rob?
It was a flat 3, so I'm underwater already.
Yeah.
The one thing about Purdy, Purdy can dissect a shit defense. He can. I'm not the biggest Purdy fan, but he excels at that. But now we're getting to the point where They don't have the running game that they used to, and they're especially not going to have it if they're missing multiple O linemen next week as well. And it just seems like Detroit keeps catching these opponents that really can't exploit the defensive weaknesses. So I'm kind of just stuck in limbo right now on this particular game. I don't really know what to do with it, honestly.
It feels like for some reason it's a Detroit team total over for me. I mean, Purdy's interception at the end of the game was a really bad one, the last drive.
It was.
Obviously, you're supposed to be protected by your offensive line. The offensive line was very good last year. But I think some of these, they're not horrible Purdy tendencies, but when he does get a little panicky, a little jumpy, he does have a tendency to be a little bit more careless with his decision making. And that's kind of what worries me. If you're going to say you're on your 5th San Francisco running back and your O-line is as shit as it is.
Yeah. I mean, they're lining up Debo in the backfield for half the game today. They just, I'm just going to eat the early number, really, is what it comes down to at this point. And I think at this point, I'll watch from the sidelines unless we get some real positive news. Like, I don't know why the 49ers would bring Trent Williams back at this point, but so we just got to kind of wait and see. But this Detroit defense, like, it's not good. At some point or another, someone's going to move the ball at will against this team. It's just they seem to keep catching teams with that are disasters, basically.
Well, I mean, Buffalo did. I mean, even when we talked about what the total was on that show, I think I made a joke of like I might look at over 80 as like an alt in that game because Detroit hasn't been tested by anybody but Buffalo, really. Who else have they played? Green Bay, that has a decent offense. Twice. That's really it. Like, I don't have a ton of respect for anybody else, really. They play Tampa in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
If we have time, I'll be interested to talk maybe a little bit through futures in the NFC, because I do think that the Lions are priced a little bit too high.
So do I. Man, the NFC, I could see a number of things happening. I actually could even see Minnesota going to the Super Bowl. I could at this point because they're just so well coached. That's what, like, I'm watching San Fran today, and like, I respect Kyle Shanahan as a game planning head coach, but my God, this fucking guy is a disaster in game.
Oh,
brutal.
Yeah, hard to. It seems like when you get the defensive-minded head coaches, they are so indexed on that, and you rarely see guys with good offensive counterparts to that. But then you got some of the offensive coordinator guys like Shanahan, who maybe should probably just be an offensive coordinator and not a head coach. It's like you'd rather err on that side, but that's really not the right way either.
Agreed. I somehow skipped over Minnesota Green Bay. I did so, I guess, because Green Bay plays tomorrow night, but it is a matchup worth talking about. Minnesota's at home this time around. They are laying 1.5 in the early market here at home to Green Bay. Total in the game at 48.5. I suspect that the market will support Green Bay in this game, even though it's on a short week. I don't think that the market really believes in Minnesota. Let's put it that way.
Agreed. And I have my moments where I don't believe either.
Darnold fucking balled out today, man. Like, he really hung in the pocket and took some huge shots as Baker just gets sacked and knocks him out of field goal range as well.
Everything about that play was bad.
Yeah. But Darnold played really well, and he's going to make a couple throws a game where your heart is going to sink. But
I feel like his YOLO-ish kind of stuff to Justin Jefferson today was open, and he was hitting him and finding him. Mm-hmm. Not YOLO, but Jefferson had 2 touchdowns, right? 2 or
Yeah.
3.
I think 2.
I don't believe a ton in Seattle's defense. I've come around on Green Bay's defense now. I'm just going to be interested to see if they're going to be able to get a little bit of pressure on Darnold and get him into some of his mistake-prone shit.
Yeah.
Not
I
that
think
Jordan Love isn't capable of it on his end, just from the Darnold lens.
All right. This has potential to come back and bite me in the ass because he does have such a high ceiling. But I think Jordan Love is the most overrated quarterback in the league. Like the way people think of Jordan Love is like he's in another tier that he's not in my opinion. He's just not.
Some people do think that, yes.
And he's very capable. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not trying to, backtrack on this take here. Love is certainly capable of putting together a Super Bowl run for this team. But I think people think of him in a higher tier than he actually is.
So Jason just put in the chat, Stroud or Love.
Well, Stroud's been horrendous this year. But again, how much of that is offensive play calling? It's a balance of both, really, right? Like I'm taking Love right now.
So if you drop shipped CJ into Love's spot, do you think CJ would do better in Green Bay than Love would? I kind of do.
I think that's a really good question, and I think he would. It would be close.
Yeah, so Sam just put in the chat, like he does have a Jameis archetype with much more high, much more upside. Like he's got much better top end of his range and can be very consistent. But I mean, he's had a couple Levis like throws this year that were just stupid and bad, but the frequency of his high success rate type plays is higher than those other guys.
Yeah. I'll draw the line here at Goff is better than Love because I think Goff is a pure system quarterback.
Yeah.
Like pure system quarterback. Darnold hurt his ankle towards the end of the game, something to keep an eye on. That's a good point. He got rolled up on. I did notice that play. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a really interesting litmus test. I feel like a lot of these games in the playoffs in the NFC are going to turn out to be coin flip type of games. That's not true because, the better teams will have home field advantage, but anyone can beat anyone. If we want to have that conversation, I can see the Lions making a deep run, but I think their defense is very susceptible. Eagles, I think, are the most complete team in the NFC with Jalen Hurts at full health. I could see the Vikings making a run. I could see the Packers. I don't think the Rams or Bucks have it in them, personally. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
I don't think they have 3 good games in them. I think they can knock somebody off in a singular game. Probably Tampa, actually, a little bit more so than the Rams, but I could see it for either team.
The most likely scenario now is that the Bucks host the Vikings in round 1, and I think the Vikings could inflict some pain upon the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, if you were not sold on the Chargers defense, who else has Tampa done well against that was surprising? Like very easy defensive strength of schedule, if I'm remembering correctly, for Tampa Bay.
Yep. I'll just look at that really quickly for the year. Schedule here for the season. Tampa Bay. I don't even know. My numbers are all fucked up right now. I'm going to have to fix that.
The best defense I see that was probably on the schedule was, if you count Philly from week 4, which they weren't really playing like the Philly defense has been playing the last 7-8 weeks.
Yeah.
At that point, or KC in week 9. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Cody says you don't want to catch the Rams or Bucks when Stafford or Baker is cooking. That's fair, but the alternative is Jaden Daniels right now. And I mean, he's just as scary. He's scarier to me than Baker is.
Yeah.
He's a dual threat quarterback. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's just like for one game, do I think those teams could win? Yeah. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think Green Bay's got a way better shot than I ever thought that they would to win the NFC this year.
I agree. Jason, do we have live odds right now, or is it off the board with Dallas Tampa? Just out of curiosity. I think it's probably off the board, and maybe we only have the AFC odds that are currently up right now. For not for Tampa, Dallas, for Super Bowl. So we have full Super Bowl odds, but we don't. Do we have AFC and NFC out of curiosity? No, just the full list.
Oh, they took down conference. Okay.
Yeah, with this game being in conference. It's going to make for interesting playoffs, honestly. You know, I've talked myself out of the Chiefs a million times this year, and then I feel like I'm right back in on them now. And I feel like this conversation happens with myself every single time, every single year.
Well, the way that I look at it, and I might have said this last week, I don't remember, but I do think the 3 AFC best teams, Baltimore, Buffalo, and KC, are better than anything in the NFC. I think some people would have Detroit favored over some of those teams, but I don't see it the same way.
Wow. CeeDee Lamb, big catch. Oh, and he's hurt.
Oh.
He's got the right shoulder injury. It looked like he landed right on it. It's kind of been working through that. Okay, so I'll speak to this comment here. So Ron says Philly just beat Baltimore. Yes, they did. But that doesn't mean that they would be rated ahead of Baltimore.
Right.
Necessarily.
I mean, Detroit's still the highest power rated team in market, which I get. Yeah. But I do think Buffalo is a better team than Detroit, and I do think that I'd probably rather have Baltimore too, if you're making me choose.
Yeah. Yeah, no. It could really be anyone. I mean, it is one of those seasons where there's a significant question mark about every single team.
Yeah.
You know? Significant. I don't think Detroit's D can hold up. I really don't. But their offense operates at such high efficiency, and their coaching staff is just so smart. My biggest issue with Baltimore is I think Lamar might just piss his pants again in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy that everybody's going to say that about until he doesn't. Like, it's just going to be, at this point, he's got to prove that he can win that type of game, and he just hasn't. It's the opposite of Mahomes. Like, you just think Mahomes is going to figure it out no matter what each time. Just get him the ball within a score. He'll get you 7.
Yep.
Lamar just seems to be the opposite. Like, what is he going to do to kind of cheese himself up?
KZ caught me intentionally skipping a game. How about the game of the week? Titans versus Jags. Let's do it. Jags minus 1.5 at FanDuel. Totals 39.5.
Sure,
towards the over. What I mean, listen, we can bet on it. I'll tell you that. We can at least bet on it, but it is a disaster of a game. Jacksonville suffered injuries to both left tackle and right tackle today. Walker Little left with an ankle injury. Anton Harrison left with a shoulder injury. They have basically no weapons outside of Brian Thomas Jr. Tennessee lost Kenneth Murray to a wrist injury. He's likely out for the year. Linebacking core is in complete and utter shambles for that team as well. Pick your poison here. Both teams suck, basically.
This is like relegated football. This is what this is going to feel like. Both these teams should be relegated.
If Jacksonville got out of today's game healthy, I would have considered betting them here, but they didn't. And now you have Mac Jones, who can't feel pressure without his offensive tackles. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't even know I don't even know what kind of market I'd want to attack. Maybe a live market, but then that would mean I have to watch it, and I don't want to do that. So, like, this is like when I thought of the Colts earlier today, I'm like, really? They're giving up 4.5 to the Titans? The Titans should be serviceable. Like, do I really believe that the Colts can win by margin? Kind of thought, like, how are the Jags even favored in this game? But I can't touch Tennessee at all.
Yep. What was the score? What these teams played a few weeks ago? I think it was week 14. How did that get 10-6? Jags won 10-6 on the road at the Titans. Yeah, that was the first Mac Jones start. I mean, Mac Jones has done nothing outside of garbage time. Nothing. And now, I mean, he's got no weapons with Evan Ingram out. He's got no O-line. You know, Grant says 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's not wrong. Like, they shouldn't even televise the game.
It's tough. We're going to have, you know, a similar derp fest with the Saints and Raiders next week as well. Saints will be small home favorites in that game with a low total. That's going to be a similar type of game where I just, it's not that you can't handicap it. It's just both teams are really bad. And, you know, who do I want to give my money to? And the answer is charity at this time of year. I'd much rather give it to charity.
Well, there's 4 AFC playoff teams likely playing on Christmas. The leftovers on Sunday are, some of these games are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a game on Sunday that at this point anybody really wants to watch? Green Bay, Minnesota. That's it.
Yeah. I like the Sunday night football game. I'm interested in Washington, Atlanta. I'm kind of interested in Jets Bills a little bit. I know it's a big spread, but I'm kind of interested in that. Oh, CD broke a couple tackles. Oh, did he get in? Wow.
Kind of rolled over on him. Like,
yeah. I think he's probably in. No,
Cooper Rush figured out the formula. Just
he's definitely short. Most definitely short.
Oh yeah, there you go.
My God.
Are we going to get the Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott talk again this year?
Oh, you always get stupid things. Always.
Were there any other games that we skipped?
No.
I don't think so.
Unless, yeah, well, we talked Green Bay, Minnesota. Oh, we didn't do Carolina, Tampa Bay. With this in action here right now.
Yeah, I'm looking. It looks like lookaheads were 7, or the number in markets like 7.5.
Yeah. If that total opens in a similar range to like where this Cowboys game ended, 47.5 or so, I will be betting the over in that game.
Yeah. And then Raiders, Saints. Oh, God, there's so many bad games.
I know. This is the problem when you put like these standalone, like the best games are on Christmas Day, right? Or like those are good matchups. And then you just start to, I mean, Denver Cincy's a pretty good game, I will say.
And Arizona Rams is fine.
So it could have been better if it meant something.
I mean, if they're going to do 2 Wednesday games and a Thursday game, do you need 3 Saturday games?
Yeah. Andy V says Cooper Rush at $5 million is significantly better than Dak at $50 million. I'm going to say no, because you can't win with Cooper Rush. And you can win with Dak Prescott. Zeke. Yeah, you can't win a Super Bowl with Cooper Rush, so it doesn't matter that he's going to be a backup.
Yeah. It's
I believe that Dak is overpaid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not standing for Dak, but Dak can win a Super Bowl. Cooper Rush can't.
All right, so this brings up at least I thought it was interesting. An interesting thought earlier that I had today about like quarterback tiers and salaries. So it feels like Baker Mayfield maybe has gotten like that mid-tier kind of established. Like we're not going to give you 50, 30 to 35. Like if you're not like a proven, superstar.
Yep.
Do we think that's where Brock Purdy's going to end up?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be less?
Big mistake. No, it's going to be in that range because every single quarterback that comes up for a contract ends up getting roughly a new better than the previous.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to get a little bit more.
I don't know. There's so many teams that are just going to overpay because that would be willing to overpay just to have that quarterback. But I think he's going to get top of market money.
Ugh, so bad. And I thought I think paying Dak is a mistake at the number that they paid him at too. But
yeah,
what's the alternative? If you think you're a win now team, I guess that's what you just absolutely have to do and you have no choice.
How old is Baker? Baker's 29.
And he got 33 for 3, so he got like 100 for 3.
Yeah. Like Baker is better than Purdy.
Yes.
He also has a pedigree. Like Baker comes in with being the first overall pick. Purdy comes in with the pedigree of being, the last pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Mr. Relevant. Yeah.
I bet Goff is the floor for Purdy in terms of salary. Damn. I mean, that's what a game manager and a good offense is going to get now. I'm trying to think of who else belongs in the Baker Mayfield tier. Like if you were paying guys. CJ Stroud's more.
Yeah, but CJ Stroud next year is going to be so important for CJ Stroud, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to make a big difference as to what he gets.
Like I feel like Kyler Murray is the type of quarterback that belongs in that Baker Mayfield range. Maybe Darnold. Now I think Baker Mayfield's overplaying his contract, which is fucking awesome. But yeah, Darnold, I have him there. I'm trying to think of any other quarterbacks that I see. Honestly, Geno Smith.
In the same tier, I put Hurts in the same tier as Jalen Hurts in the same tier as Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, but Hurts is somebody I think that for whatever reason still commands more money, which is ridiculous, but he does probably belong there in that second level.
Mm-hmm.
What did Hurts get for his updated contract?
I don't know what Hurts' deal is.
Yeah, so he signed 5 years for $255.
Yeah. So 51. Average salary 51.
Yeah. Tua is another one that probably belongs in that Baker tier.
Yeah. So this is Kyle's point. Like outside of Mahomes, does a market-setting quarterback salary ever win the Super Bowl? So this is the challenge, right? Because there's like kind of two proven ways to make deep runs. One is you maximize the value of the rookie deal and you just build a superstar team around your rookie quarterback, or you end up signing an elite starter. And the problem is so many of these teams get stuck in like the Dak Prescott territory. It's like, well, we could win with this guy. So, and what's the message to the fan base if you just let these guys walk? It's tough. It's really challenging.
Quarterback purgatory is the fucking worst. Like you just don't want to be there.
I mean, Gabriel says Hurts shouldn't be a starter. I mean, did we see Kenny Pickett today? Hurts is definitely a starter. I think he's an overrated quarterback, but I don't think there's a question that he's a starter.
Yeah, I don't know how much success a Hurts-led offense would have outside of specifically Philly. Mm-hmm. Like that is just completely tailor-made for him and what his strengths are.
Right.
Yeah, I was just thinking there needs to be more in that mid-tier, but I think you're just still going to see mostly ceiling people are just going to raise the ceiling year in and year out, and I just don't think they should.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
What was the penalty here?
It was defensive holding, so it got declined. Cowboys left too much time on the board for Baker to cook, just dissecting the defense. He's very good at this.
This is the perfect offensive coordinator for him too. Like,
bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liam Cohen is fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, the longer you let
Payne Durham. Okay, so Payne Durham is there at his 3+ catches. We just hit the over. Doesn't mean we cashed it yet because he could still lose yardage. But that's looking good. Rico Dowdle would need 7 more yards receiving out of the backfield. And then Cowboys -2.5. We're alive. We're very much alive here.
So someone in the chat giving Vikings, if the Vikings gave Darnold the bag, I mean, are they kind of in the same situation that the Falcons then put themselves in with the Cousins and Penix shit? Like, are they really going to pay Darnold with McCarthy waiting?
Well, the reason it's working with Darnold is because Darnold right now doesn't get paid anything. The minute that they do, one of Jefferson or Addison is going to have to get sacrificed at some point. Like, it's not going to.
Yeah, you can't have it all and pay. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't think that they would go forward and pay Darnold.
They won't because they have McCarthy. They drafted JJ McCarthy. They're not. I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised. I think this is a one and done year for Darnold, and they're going to hope that they can make a Super Bowl run with him. But I do not think that they're paying him. I do not think that's happening. Last Tampa Bay timeout, ran it to get the 1st and goal.
Ugh. Bowles is another head coach that just fucking minimizes.
Yeah. I saw so many questionable decisions today that my head almost exploded watching a lot of these. It's a complete and utter disaster from a lot of these head coaches.
Do you think you'll talk about the Cousins Penix thing on Circle Back this week?
What in particular? Just the
general discourse back and forth, because there were some analytical people that felt very, very, very strongly.
I'll tell you, it didn't make the first draft, but now that you're talking about it, I could see it going in.
Yeah.
There's likely going to be a lot of GRP talk this week. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh.
There's a lot of stuff that came up that
I'm surprised. I'm so surprised.
Yeah.
I have him muted, so I haven't seen most of his stuff lately. Did he catch that?
Yeah, it looked like it. McMillan. Wow. McMillan.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine what GRP did now. Was it all Heisman related?
He's just. I almost believe, I can't believe he's a real person.
Yeah. He's a cartoon.
He is a cartoon.
I mean, I haven't gotten one slow angle yet to see if that was a catch, but I guess it was.
Yeah, it looks like it is. Looks good. Looks good to me.
Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, not my stream. Now my cable is behind you.
Yeah. That's
nice
it,
catch.
A little bit of satellite TV. That's the way it goes. Went old school here. But Connor says his Chernoff tracking is funny. I actually don't think it is. I actually think it's so lame because he doesn't even track them. It would be funny if you actually listen to the segments and track them properly. But he has such a personal vendetta that he just makes things up. Like, I listen back to the same Adam segments and I'm like, I don't even know where he got this. And Adam will specifically say when it's not a bet and he's just playing along to the host, and GRP will still track it. Like, it's actually if someone was tracking me like that, and I saw them in person, I would punch them in the face, especially
Yeah.
for GRP.
It's such a weird thing. Like, just why turn off out of not that turn off's above any of that. I don't mean it that way. It's just like of all the people he could have selected in the gambling, Twitter space, he chose turn off.
Yeah, he I don't know. I don't know what it is that about Chernoff that particularly irks him, but he doesn't track him properly. So it's not, it just comes across as him being an idiot. Anyways, I'll save more of that for tomorrow. Lord McD asks, Rob, away favorites this season have hit at an unprecedented clip, especially recently since week 9, 34-8 against the spread. What do you attribute this to this season? I would say the most likely scenario is just random variance. Second would be market potentially overvaluing home field advantage in certain venues. But if that's the case, that will likely just correct itself in the near future.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have a different take? Like,
I don't. I'd have to look at it very, very specifically, but I mean, a 40-something game sample isn't all that huge. I mean, earlier in the season, weren't we seeing like in terms of variance versus the spread, like some high crazy numbers too? Like, think about Survivor, right? Like, this was the fastest I've ever seen. Ooh, good throw. Is that Schoon?
No, that's Jakey Ferguson.
Oh, Ferguson. Can't see the number.
I mean, listen, if you run a binomial probability on that, it's really unlikely, like very, very highly unlikely to get 34 coin flips to land the same way on a 42, right? But it can happen. My guess would be that it's not significant in any way, but that's just my own personal guess. And I've had a good NFL season, so I don't really have like cause for concern as to what I'm doing where I need to look deeper into it type of thing.
Yeah, I don't. You'd have to think through what you wanted to look at to see if there was signal. Like, I thought the circles off with Andrew Mack was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, what from a home away dynamic has changed enough this year to kind of create any kind of signal there? I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Marcus says, I thought the whole Panthers team was supposed to have the flu. I fell for that banana in the tailpipe. I don't reach out to a former friend of ours, Dr. E, former forward progress content creator, now VP of analytics for the Panthers, because I don't want to put him in a tough situation or anything like that. But I reached out to him after the game today to congratulate him on the win. And I said, I noticed that a bunch of players were on the injury report with illness this week. And he said that they actually had a holiday party on Monday and a charity event together on Tuesday. So it kind of got spread around. So, yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
There he is. What a legend. What a legend. How is this game still in the first half? What time is it?
Almost 10. And there's been 34 points, and I feel like we barely talked about the offense.
Oh, I'm so underwater on this under. Oh, well. Such is life. I'll just mark that as an L in the sheet right now. Classic CLV toast.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter that Cooper Rush can take these. By the way, like any other quarterback takes this sack and it's completely moronic. Doesn't matter. But because their kicker can kick like a freaking 80-yard field goal, doesn't make a difference. Gino takes this sack and people are losing their goddamn minds, holding the ball too long, this and that.
It's true. Let's see what. Oh, yeah. I mean, he really didn't have much of a shot there.
No, he was cooked. Damn, Nuggets, Pelicans went to OT. Not ideal for the Jokic under 21.5 rebounds plus assists.
Ah, Finding some prop edges.
Got cooked in OT. Got cooked in OT.
Any take on tomorrow's game for Green Bay?
I don't have anything there. Oh, Tolbert almost caught that. Oof. You have any opinion? Packers Saints?
Not really. I was trying to find a bet to talk myself into, though.
I mean, I got to be on air for this game. I'll tell you. I know that Rattler looked better last week, but going back to the beginning of the year, he was like week 6, 7, 8 with no offensive weapons. He was terrible. Terrible. Brandon Aubrey, 58 yards. Boom. Drilled it. Easy game. Easy game. 23-14.
That was good, but for like another 10 yards.
I know. It's absurd, man. It's absurd. Just all offense this game. Let me just check the
live numbers.
Yeah, well, what are we going to open the second half at here?
What was it implied beforehand? What did this close at?
47.
Jeez.
It's got to be, so 23-14. We're at 37. Probably like a 24.5 second half. Something like that.
Yeah. Is that, I guess that's enough.
Yeah, there it is, 24.5.
Yeah. Man, why is there we go. Now my FanDuel's up.
Am I drunk in that Cowboys minus 160 seems cheap right now?
No.
Full game money line? What are we at relative to market? Pin 164, Chris 176. That feels a little bit cheap to me with a 9-point lead in the game.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't call any of this Cowboys offensive performance really all that like unsustainable either. Like this isn't flukish kind of stuff. I think they'll still be able to move the ball and get some first downs. I just feel short.
They've gotten 30 yards or more on 5 of their 6 drives. I know Tampa's going to get the ball first, though, and that might change things pretty quickly. Yeah. Definitely going to look for, I see some minus 145, minus 154. I'm going to try to play as many of these as I can right now. 140. So someone's betting the other side. Listen, everyone in here, you know me as an unbiased Cowboys fan. I honestly don't even want them to win this game, but now I kind of have to get in at this point. Who recommended? Levi recommended a punt parlay. Honestly, that'll pay so good that I do want to play it. The problem is Cowboys punts are so unlikely because their kicker can kick from so fucking far. All they got to do is have like 2 completions.
Like the field goal attempt is often underpriced on Dallas.
Right?
Yes. Other books.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm actually interested in that. I don't think it's unreasonable to bet the Cowboys, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we are in the lead by 9, by the way, is the perfect score to ruin the Dallas minus 2.5 alt line on this. I mean, we still need 7 Rico Dowdle yards in the passing game. But that's a very, very live SGP right now, which would be a nice hit.
What's the offensive touchdown for Tampa instead of going punt? I'm just curious. 165.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
With a Payne Durham catch. Payne Durham's there already. Target-wise, Mike Evans has 5, McMillan 3, Shepard 3, Durham 3. We need Bucky Irving. This is a bad game state for Bucky Irving under right now. Not that I'm going to be rooting for injury, but it's not the greatest game state at this point. You know? You know?
I do love this quick bet menu that FanDuel has. They already have this drive up and next drive that
I know. It is solid.
Yeah.
It is a solid product. Cowboys can't run the ball. So do we just go like some absurd Cooper Rush alternate passing yard in game? I will say this about McCarthy. McCarthy has like some really dumb clock management in game and stuff like that, but he's not the type of guy that's just going to come out and try to sit on the lead and run the ball. He's better than that. So if we go passing props, 328.5 is not, I want like 400. Yeah, 400. At plus 920. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm playing Cooper Rush. That's going to be a go for me.
That's a go.
That's a go for me. Did it just get? There it is, 400 plus. Small in-game bet.
I'm looking at the Cowboys' 7th drive, player to catch a pass. Do we like any of these people to catch 2?
This is me doing this stream every single night. Clive is now discovering what it feels like to be me doing this live stream.
Yeah.
I was a bit cheeky when I said this, but I genuinely enjoy a full Clive watch along. It feels wholesome and family-like, similar to Brotherhood, and you and Rob have great premise. Thank you. Wheels up.
Thanks.
Really appreciate that.
Appreciate
that. Okay, I'm in on Cooper Rush 400 plus.
Oh God.
Like the Bucks are this just has a feeling of a complete shootout, right?
Yeah. I really am starting to talk myself into the Bucks to score a touchdown this drive.
Instead of going punt parlay, what if we go touchdown parlay?
Touchdown field goal attempt.
No, I don't want that. That's going to be bad for my soul. I mean, it might be good. Sterling Shepard to catch a pass is not bad. That the only thing is, I think Sterling Shepard is kind of like phased out now after those drops.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think they will intentionally give him something to get him back involved? Oh,
Seems like Jason wants
drive results bets
to catch a pass here. Jason's getting a little too excited. A little too excited. I definitely don't want to bet Bucky Irving. I'll tell you that. Props looking good so far.
Who's coming into the third quarter?
Oh, Feinberg's here in the third quarter.
Right.
He's going to be extra sauced.
Birthday celebration.
Exactly. Spencer says CD anytime plus 420. I'm not going to lie to you people. There's about 100 things I could bet right now. And I'm not going to. The Cooper Rush alts are good. I like that. It's a shot. It's probably going to lose, but it has a better than 1 out of 10 chance of happening. Cahill says Rob loves betting. It's an understatement.
Yeah, no shit.
Fucking love betting. Jordan is in on punt Rico. Okay, let's see punt Rico. If I was going to go punt though, I would want to bet someone on the Bucks to catch a pass instead of Rico. Because if Rico catches a pass, they likely can get a first down. And even one first down brings them to like the four. Like the field goal range is so stupid with the Cowboys. It's so stupid. Incredibly dumb. Oh, I got to sneeze badly. Rare to get hit with the single sneeze,
Yeah, it's normally back-to-backs.
Yeah, it's rare to get hit with the single sneeze.
Mike Evans already has 59 receiving yards.
Levi says, nah, it's a screen on 3rd and 25. The Cowboys set up more wide receiver screens this year than they do running back screens. I'm not saying it can't happen. Again, realm of possibility. But 3rd and 25, the more likely scenario is a quick screen to a wide receiver than it is to a running back for the Cowboys. This ain't my first rodeo, Sam. I spared you guys. If you heard that sneeze at the levels, right, eardrums would have exploded.
Yeah,
toast.
We don't need that.
Toast. Speaking of toast, I'm pretty hungry. I'm going to see if my wife can bring me up something to eat.
That's the spirit. That's why you get married.
That's 100%.
I don't mind this Baker Mayfield anytime touchdown right now. I have to bet on my phone right now for whatever reason.
Okay. Interesting here. He's already at 9 tackles. Has he been getting targeted is the question. Slot corner. The problem is he might not he's been getting burned so hard he might not see the field all that much in the second half. That's the issue.
That does seem meaningful.
All right. Everyone, all at once. I want your favorite second half bet in the chat as I quickly decide what else I want to bet. Favorite second half bet in the chat. I don't care if it's a long shot. I don't care if it's a favorite. I don't care if it's a parlay. Could be an SGP. Post it in the chat. And there's a decent chance I will bet. I can't cheer for that. Bucks money line. Get out of here, Jonas. What is this? Traitor.
You opened it up for this.
I know. I'm mostly seeing bets that I don't like. You know what? Drunken Goon. The old pass.
It's okay to pass.
Okay. You know what? This is a good look. Jake Ferguson over 46.5. Good look, in my opinion. If that's the actual number right now, 4 catches, 33 yards, been targeted 6 times. He's going to get more targets in the set. I do not believe that Tampa is going to go quietly here. They seem to be able to move the ball through the air. Jason is also rooting against Jake Ferguson for some sort of fantasy pool purposes. So I'm going to probably bet some 100 plus as well at this exact moment. Love that. Marcus, Bucks field goal, Cowboys TD. Next drive, 15-1.
That was the opposite of what I thought.
Oh, got a snack here. A little bit of some Christmas cake here.
Oh, victory.
Can you leave the door open if you don't mind? It's pretty hot in here. It's some roast in here. Oh man,
you got to air it out.
Moment of truth. Not sure what all the maybe
green
some
and red
cranberries and some dried fruits.
Yeah, at first I thought you had a fruit cake, like truly, like one of those things. And then I thought it was bruschetta.
No, I'm not eating bruschetta. I'm not. That's not happening. Nathan Irving, 6+ receptions. Get out of my face. What is happening here with people? I am actually eating a fruitcake. Panettone was served at my Christmas games party on Friday night, which, by the way, was a banger party. Anyways, Clive, I'll let you enjoy the second half on your own. Thank you very much. Good luck with your bets.
Later on.
All right. Clive Bixby, everyone. It's very moist. Buttery. This is actually really good. I actually have some coffee here I could even dip into if I wanted to. You guys a fan of the dip, the cake dip into the coffee? Oh, wow. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty disappointed when she brought this cake upstairs. But now that I've tasted it, I don't think 2 slices is good enough. Oh, parlay the cake with coffee. That is plus EV move of the week. Thank you, Cahill. I'm going to give that away on the show this week.
No Panettones being busted open yet for cake.
Honestly, it's hard for me and my wife to eat like a full panettone. Mm-hmm. She's not a big fan either. Yeah. So I gift them. I serve them at parties. I'll have an occasional slice here and there, but I'm not going to take down a whole panettone to my face, you know? Mm-hmm. What do you got going on there? Pineapple.
The cord pineapple.
Cord pineapple.
Yep. The plus TV move of the week is buying cord pineapples.
Oh, 100%. Who the fuck would want to dice up their own pineapple? You got to be an insane person.
Yeah, it's crazy. Is it weird to eat the entire thing? I buy like 7 of these and just eat them all in one go.
That's an absurd amount of pineapple. Like pineapple's got a lot of sugar, like lots of sugar. It's eating an absurd amount of pineapple.
Now you're making me look how many calories is in one pineapple.
Don't worry about the calories. It's just sugar. Like it's got a lot of acid. Like your stomach, man, you're gonna burn a hole in your stomach with that much pineapple.
No, but my stomach is like titanium, so it's fine. Also, there's the Rashad White catch right out the gate, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Of the 20 things I clicked. It's not that bad. It's only 400 calories. That's very good.
It's a good thing I bet Cowboys minus 140 at the half when I could immediately get minus 122. You know?
Yeah.
Which I might. Oh, man.
So.
What? Go ahead. I was debating whether or not I was going to stuff this other one in my face, and I'm going to.
I'm cheering for Bucky Irving under receiving yards, obviously. Right?
You fucking better be.
Yeah. No. But I'm also cheering for his under rushing yards too. I forgot to mention that. So I'm cheering for his under rushing yards, and I'm cheering for Rashad White under rush attempts. Which one do I have to kill?
It's a tough one.
I don't think I get both.
Oh, Umbaruski. And they recovered it. Baker recovered it. Jonas nailed it, by the way. You're cheering for Bucky Irving getting cramps.
But then Rashad White is going to hit his over rush attempts first.
Okay, well, you're not going to hit both of them. Well, you could. But, like, if you...
Can, like, they both run into each other or something like that, and then they both have cramps? Can I cheer for that?
Some sort of viral disease. Virus.
Yes. Like somebody slipping instant laxatives into there. The same guy who put the gum on the New York Giants guy's helmet.
We got cooked on Bucky. Bucky just cooked us.
Oh, my God.
No, Parsons is going off, too. Oh, my God, man. We need some good vibes. And there's only one person that can deliver good vibes. It's not the idiot eating the pineapple. I'll tell you that. He's not an idiot either. He's just a good guy. All around, great guy, Jeff Feinberg.
What up, Rob?
Happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Another trip. They come and they go.
Are you okay? Seems like you were like having like a midlife crisis or something.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I actually got Cowboys +4. I got in at the half on the under 61 because I'm like, they just scored 20 points in 2 minutes. Like the actual pacing wasn't so bad. But I don't know. The Bucs are so like volatile. Like they'll give up big plays. I'm already starting to regret it. But I like to sweat. Got screwed on some games today. So it is what it is. You sound
really sad, man. It's just a birthday. We all get up there and
oh no, and my birthday was like 2 days ago. I'm not. I'm just tired.
Did you dye your hair?
Do I dye my hair?
It looks like your hair's a little darker than usual.
Get out of town.
It could just be the camera. I'm just asking. Something's going on with your hair today. That's a little unusual. Is all.
This is just. I don't know. I've been wearing a winter hat. I just threw it off. Just walked the dogs. Came in. I walked the dogs at halftime. So. Yeah. This is just some winter hat hair. No, I actually got like beautiful thick hair, no dye, no nothing. I swear on Justin Herbert's ACL. That's
how the people know it's real.
Yeah.
Oh man. This guy looks like Jeff Garland but speaks like Larry David. Is such a great comment.
Looks like Jeff Garland speaks like, yeah.
Oh,
fair enough.
I love Jeff Garland.
I'll take it.
Jeff Garland's fantastic. Jeff doesn't look anything like Jeff Garland, but they do share the same first name.
It's all right.
Gonna need a stop here. This 2nd and 19. Take him down. Sack him. No, don't let him get out. Sack him. Fumble. Fumble. The ball is down.
Who got it?
I think the Cowboys recovered in bounds. Cowboys ball. Cowboys ball.
I'm just cheering Cowboys in the under. So if the Cowboys want to take like a 7-minute field goal right now, that's what I'm cheering for.
Yeah, I'm cheering for Cooper Rush to get 400 yards. Baker he keeps hitting his helmet like he got hit in the head, and he's upset that there was no roughing. I mean, Baker sometimes he could just take a sack. I don't know
listen, Rob, they turned the ball over against the Bucs. They turned it over against the Raiders. The Chargers. Just the Chargers and Raiders, they're ready for the day. But like any team that's being competitive in the game, like the turnovers are going to kill you, and the Bucs have been winning despite them. So I'm not surprised if one finally bites them in the ass.
You know what? I think
I like Tampa. I'm not here to knock Tampa. But they turn the ball over a lot and don't pay the piper for it.
I personally don't think that he recovered this ball in bounds.
My TV's flickering.
Well,
so I haven't seen shit.
It's TV's flickering. You on Beanfield?
No, I just was in here earlier and then I switched it over.
You forgot to change back the HDMI from the...
No, I always get annoyed when anyone else is in here touching my stuff, and it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta just accept that I live with 4 other humans.
Was it one of the kids or was it the wife?
Well, it was my wife, but she she was just wrapping. She had the baby in here, but she put like Disney on the TV because she was wrapping presents. She just wanted to keep the kid nearby and distracted. And now then I come here to do a watch along and I'm like, just expect to turn it on where I need it. And it's Disney. And this first world problems. Let's just change the subject. I don't need to complain about nothing. I got no complaints, Rob.
I mean, it seems like you had a lot of complaints there, but I get it.
No real complaint. I got no complaints. Blessed. Did they rule anything yet?
It's going to get overturned. We're not back from commercial break yet, but I'm going to be floored.
So do you have like a 3rd and 4? Is it a 3rd and 40? Is that right?
If it got overturned, then it'll be 3rd and 40. Yeah.
So it did get overturned. It's 3rd and 40.
3rd and 40. Yeah, my FanDuel's updated as well. 3rd and 40.
3rd and 40.
I wouldn't put it past the Cowboys to give up a first down here.
If there's any NFL minutia boys out there, can someone explain to me how the Dolphins and Chargers, if they both tied at 9 and 8, that the Dolphins would win a tiebreak? When I tried to look at the schedule, and I felt like the Chargers had them on common opponents. But I guess the implication is if the Chargers lose these next 2 games, maybe those are relevant common opponents. I'm not sure. But Romo's talking up the Dolphins today, making the playoffs. You know what that's like, Rob? That's like when the golf, someone's up 6 strokes with like 3 holes left, and the announcer's trying to tell you that it's not over yet.
Well, but Denver could easily blow this. Like Denver's schedule down the stretch is no cupcake, right? They're dogs next week.
They play, but they're gonna have a freebie against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have to lose to Pittsburgh or it's over.
Oh no, our boy Durham just took a huge hit.
Is he all right?
He's okay. But he got absolutely smoked. Yes, but Jeff, this is like Carson Wentz is playing for something, man.
Yeah, no, they beat the Chargers last year playing for nothing in week. Giff Smith, I wouldn't go. You see Giff and the boys, Giff and Easton. I don't know, Rob. Don't ask me about this. I'll try to give you a quick 180.
These people try to rile you up so much. As soon as you get in here, there's like
something happened though, Rob. And this is, I swear to God, a true story. And this is real. And I'm not being pranked either. Like, it's all real. I got a DM from Brandon Staley's brother asking me, do I know you? You know what? I'm embarrassed.
Are you confident it's Brandon Staley's real brother?
Yes.
Like you are certain it's his real brother, and you're not being got.
Send me the account.
Because this sounds like you're getting got, Jeff.
No, I'm not. I know I'm not, because this is an embarrassing part. I'm just not. Just trust me. When you're the head coach of my football team, I know like your insides.
So you're not got. You asked Brandon Staley's brother a legitimate question.
No, I didn't ask. He asked me a question. Okay. Unsolicited. I'd never spoken to him in my life. I know who he is, but I've never spoken to him. Does that make sense?
Yes. He got me until now.
He asked me, do I know you? Or like, have we met before? And I replied impolitely.
Pause for 1 second. That was Flournoy that just caught this pass over the middle of the field. If he's listed in the TD score props right now, I have to bet him because he's going to be like some sort of absurd price at this point. I don't know that he will be listed because I think he just saw the field. Flournoy, 50 to 1. 50 to 1. Go. Bang-a-rang. Hello. I'm in.
Anyway.
Sorry to interrupt you. I had to get
Rob, all I would say is if like your brother's a Hamas commander, don't message me and think we're just going to like have a friendly conversation. Like, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not starting on a baseline of normal.
These guys don't respect my action, by the way. They just moved to 60 to 1, down to 50 to 5. I'm hitting it again. How about that? Oh, there we go. They moved to 32 now.
Florney, what was your bet? Florney anytime?
Yeah.
Because Lamb is out? What is your thinking?
No, he's just on the field. He's just a wide receiver on the field that would never get priced at that if, he's playing.
Oh, Rob, why?
Why what?
Can you tell me why Fezzik, like, how do I just get out of the vortex?
So you turned on Fezzik like I did. You just, it's tough.
No, because I liked him. I thought I really liked him.
Same.
But then it's like, oh my God. And then he's like including me. He's tagging me on his blue horseshoes. He's making poll questions about me.
Yeah.
Like,
all right, we need to structure this a little bit better. So first and foremost, let's finish the Brandon Staley's brother story. I need to know what came of that conversation with Staley's brother. There's Dowdle.
Can we get headphones first? Is that possible?
Me?
Yeah.
Listen, it's honestly not. Because do you want to know why? Because these are the shitty ones I have. I've like ripped them. There's only one here. They don't work anymore.
It's okay. It's okay.
His
Don't worry.
daughter put him in when she was watching Disney Plus earlier. Now Jeff's upset. You brought up bad memories. Bad memories.
And I gotta get, because I'm getting on the airplane Tuesday, and I'm gonna need these stupid old school headphones.
Yeah, you're gonna need them. But although they'll give you them on the airplane, they'll hand out like
they first they pretend to charge you.
Rush, throw the ball. Okay, we're gonna have like another 1,000,000-mile long field goal at this point.
No, why 1,000,000-mile? Be just like a 50.
Oh, I thought they were gonna call him for grounding, but he was outside of the pocket. I thought he ran back into the pocket, but there you go.
Have you still busting out hammers and nails at the house, Rob?
At this point, I'm not doing any additional work. I'm gonna there's things that need to get done, but I'm not gonna be the guy to do them. That field goal is through. Brandon Aubrey, 53 yards.
So that drive wasn't as long as I would have wanted, but
no, it's all right. Got a few more Cooper Rush yards at that point, up to 262. On his way to 400. On his way to 400.
Points are in this game now, 40.
Yeah. People are really upset. They need you to finish the story.
Which story do they want? I sent Jason the thing. I don't know how to explain it.
All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to revisit that story.
Which story are we on? What do you want? I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Okay. Michael Staley.
Never spoken to him before in my life. Okay?
Have we met before? Nope, but I don't know how I will ever forgive your brother. I feel like a resident of Springfield who got railroaded by the bed of lies that is monorail man. He responded. Oh man. That's it though. That's how the conversation ended.
Yeah, what do you want? Well, I got nothing to say. Where do I know you from? Where are you coming at me from?
This is I don't know.
Listen, you're right, Rob. Like, you're right. He's just a normal guy. He had a normal, fair question. Did he deserve that attack? No. Like, I am self-aware enough to know that was probably not a normal way about going about it. But
I get it, Jeff. You had years of frustration, years of pent-up frustration that you just happened to take out on his brother.
Rob, my dream, not a dream, like I got it pretty charmed, so I can like dream for something. It's the one on the far left.
That's how do you know that? How do you know it's not the middle guy?
Because I know.
Okay.
See, now just playing, Rob, I just ripped the headphone off of the cord, the other one now. Or the base.
Oh man. Wow.
Rob, wouldn't you love, like, let's say there's some, like, which coach do you want to, like, who do you...
Of course he's on the far left.
No, the brother's actually on the far right, actually.
No, Brandon Staley was on the far right. Staley was far right.
Yeah, sorry, the one that, anyhow, Rob, like, I would love to get on an airplane one time and Brandon Staley, like, is sitting beside me.
The coolest I ever had?
No, but not cool. Like, yes, you want someone cool, like a celebrity, or someone who you, like, don't despise, but you, like, hate enough where you, like, want them stuck there. And I don't want to make it where he's got to go, like, stewardess, this person is, but, like, you know, you want to, like, if you could get stuck behind, if I could get stuck behind Brandon Staley at a ride at Disneyland, like a really popular ride, where we're now here for 90 fucking minutes, unless you want to leave this really popular ride, Brandon, you are going to fucking have to listen to me. Like, that's the shit that gets me off. So yeah, I am insane. Maybe not most insane, and I don't claim to be normal. But that, like, yeah. But look at the 49ers. 3 personal fouls on defense today.
Sumo was in orbit.
All like ridiculous pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. I sat next to Whit Merrifield on a flight a couple years ago. That was a
Andy
good flight.
thinks I'm the only 30-year-old guy upset about a head coach.
You know what? I know you well, Jeff, and I like you a lot, but I think Andy might actually be right.
What did he write again? Oh, not a real human.
He's a real human, but he is a mid 30-year-old adult being very upset about a head coach that's no longer coaching the team. I get it.
Things are going fine now.
I will say, every single time I see Jason Garrett on the broadcast, just see his face, I get really upset. Irrationally upset. Baker is taking a big shot, and it's going to be incomplete.
Palmer, eh?
Trey Palmer.
That guy woke up feeling dirty.
That's the one. That's the one. All right. We're done with the Brandon Staley story.
Yeah, listen, it's not, you're right. Like, I could have handled that. No, why do you think you know me? Or I don't think you know me.
Yeah, it was a good response. Listen, you suffered through years of his brother's wrath. I get it.
That means there's a world where Brandon Staley knows who you are. If his brother knows you, there's a chance that he knows who you are.
No, I don't think so.
I think so. No?
SNES Chalmers says, I would light Mayo up on a plane ride if we were seated together.
Oh, sure. I don't know. I'm sure people like can't stand Mayo. But I don't know. What would you yell at him for? Like bad fantasy takes? Like, what are you going to annoy him? You're going to ask him your stardom sit-ems?
No, you
like, I'm just curious what
his teeth are
he's
too
going
good.
to punch him in the face? What did he mean there?
Yeah,
what did that mean? I do nothing with violence. I wouldn't like throw a punch at this. What did I say? In this like Disneyland ride?
Yeah.
Rob, this is what I want to tell you. Mayo misrepresented me, even though I did something stupid. I didn't lose this teaser. I pushed it. But what I did last week was because Washington Saints at 6.5 to 1. But the teaser paid less and had the Eagles on it last week where they killed Pittsburgh. The teaser paid less than better than the money line parlay. Even though what an idiot. Like, Washington should have never pushed that.
Yeah.
So what do you make of teasing through 0 when it's a ticket like I'm going to make it this ticket anyway? So then I felt like I'm better off making it in the teaser. But obviously that point mattered. That point got me. But I didn't lose it. I pushed it because I went 1 for 2 on a teaser.
Yes.
So like best price is the teaser, but then I have to tease through 0.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
I know what you're saying.
So what does your rule book say about that? You just say don't do either.
There's with teasers, right? There's the totals of the game matter. So I never want to say like, don't ever do this because it could make sense to tease a total or to tease.
I'm not talking about a total.
I know you're just teased through 0. The problem is that you're teasing.
I did.
You're teasing through numbers that don't matter. Not that they don't matter.
But I'm still paying less than. Like, I'm getting better odds than the money line parlay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's not a good side though.
Yeah, I get it because it was Eagles -5, Washington -7.5.
And you wanted to play both of those in a money line parlay, so instead.
And then I looked at it and I'm like, if I teased it, but then I'd eat the 1 point, which ended up costing me. But I feel like
It's a less worse bet than the
It's
money
still a
line
bad
parlay
bet.
you were gonna. Yeah.
But best price principle says I take my chance and I do actually. Like what do you say there?
When the teaser through 0 pays better than the money line parlay, it's usually an indicator that you shouldn't make that bet.
I mean, yes. But I would.
Oh, Mike Evans got smoked. Can't stop.
You're
Donovan
not wrong,
Wilson.
but I was very confident about both of those games last week. Funny enough. Okay. Yeah, that's all. I was curious what you thought about that. I meant to ask you, and I have to ask you in front of everyone, which is embarrassing.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Each better bets their own stuff. It doesn't. You're the one that clicks the buttons. You get to bet whatever you want in your own accounts. Those are the rules of sports betting.
But yeah, it was Eagles. Oh yeah, whatever.
All right. Second.
Is this quarter over yet?
No, this game is the longest game of all time, dude.
So I guess like all you're saying to that is I didn't necessarily do the wrong thing based with my situation, but it's a bad sign if the teaser actually pays better than the money. Like
there's good principles in there. Like your price shopping, there's some good things that happened within the realm of bad.
Yeah.
But it was mostly bad.
No, you're saying it's just a horrible sign, and if that's possible, you're probably just better off staying away.
Exactly.
Like if you are actually getting the better price on the teaser, maybe reevaluate all of it.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Speaking of reevaluating all of it, we were talking Fezzik earlier, right? And I had a similar experience to you because for years, Fezzik is just getting roasted on Twitter. And I'm like, these guys are giving such a hard time. Like they're being pedantic about like this little thing that he said or whatever. And then I did my Bet Bash panel a couple years ago when Fezzik was on the panel with me and Ravel was like going at me saying I have a bad reputation in the space. And Fezzik's like, what are you talking about? Pizzola has a impeccable reputation. Like, he like defended me. I'm like, this guy's a good guy. And then over time, I don't know what's happened, man. But it's just gotten to the point where.
Listen, he DM'd me this morning to make a bet on something. And I'll just tell you this, Rob. He DM'd me to play tomorrow first half Packers -8. The best I could get was 9. And I looked the moment he gave it to me. So like, I'm like, all right. I don't know. He's just, I don't know. Think I guess it's always the same thing because he acts like he's so smart, except you call him out on things and then it's like he's pretty dumb. But
there's one thing
not dumb. Dumb's the wrong word, but he plays dumb because he's not dumb. I don't think he's dumb. He's pretty bright. And I would enjoy like having a beer or a convo or watching a game or a slate of games with him. Like I would enjoy that. But there's something about him. I get on this voice. He lets me ride his ride, and I am like screaming to be let off.
I'm in the same boat. I had lunch with him last time I was in Vegas. It was a lunch with Rufus and Mike Craig. Probably your nightmare of a lunch, actually, Jeff.
I wouldn't know because I like Rufus too. I would absolutely like just if I was with Rufus, I would actually show him, this might be really corny to a lot of people, the respect I think he deserves. There are people, like, I've said this to you before, Rob. I would happily, like, chat with Rufus. I believe he, like, takes bad L's, like, wrong for being Patrick Mahomes. If people think you're Patrick Mahomes, you're allowed to throw bad interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a reputation, like, you have equity. But then, like, he takes bad interceptions and tells you how, like, smart the play actually was. Like, well, just take your bad interception. But I'd happily have drinks with Rufus. Like, he's not one of these people who I might have argued with on Twitter who I don't want to be within, like, 100 yards of ever. Rufus could, I could learn a lot from him. That's obvious, as could anyone. but I would enjoy hearing him talk about any of it because I'm fascinated by it.
I don't know why the Bucks kicked that field goal just there, by the way. I know it was
Bowles has been
fortunate.
so hardcore lately, Rob. And
Yeah.
then he glitched. He went back to the other guy. But they've been pretty ahead of the curve. My boy, Liam Cohen. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. He's a good OC.
You
He's
think
a good
he'll
OC.
get you think they're like a factory? You think he'll get interviews?
They're going to lose 2 OCs in back-to-back years.
Like, I guess people would have thought Canales would get interviews. I don't know if people actually thought he'd get a job.
Bucks really want to fuck me on my SGP, I'll tell you that. Because I got Cowboys -2.5.
It's been a 6-point quarter, Rob.
Yep. You're looking
like
okay
that.
right now.
I
Yeah.
like that. That is very helpful to me. What's the point total in this game right now?
43 right now.
What was the pregame total again? 47?
47, yeah. Any other questions?
No, I like where I stand. I'm just doing real life math. It's all a bit of a blur. Got a bit of a headache.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Palm Beach on Tuesday.
It's nice.
Yeah,
What are the plans?
I mean, I got 3 kids, so
Why did you get all quiet? It sounds like you're
well, like you never know. There's no like plans.
Mm.
You know, it's an adventure.
okay.
But you know, the folks are there and they can watch the kids. But
Okay.
yeah. I don't like the Chargers being moved to Saturday. I found that very annoying.
Throws off your whole week, huh?
Well, I really wanted them to get every day of the mini bye that last week afforded them, to be honest. And even though the Patriots have to play early, I don't know. I just don't I don't like that. Quarter over yet?
It can be.
I've had some really long, like short quarters lately. This one feels longer.
No, this one's been a short third quarter, honestly. The first half was just so long.
I guess you're right. It was 2 drives, 3
Yeah.
drives. Yeah, that was quick.
I mean, Mitty says that was the saddest I've ever heard your voice. Patrick,
no, I'm really excited. I love Palm Beach.
Most dejected. I have 3 kids. You went real quiet there.
No,
man.
Rob, I love Palm Beach. I love Palm Beach. Like, listen, I used to be like, I'm a San Diego guy, but I guess like these days, you know, the alt-right's got a hold of me. So I've just become like, I know, fuck San Diego. Like, we're going to Palm Beach. But Lynn, when you travel with 3 kids, like you come back like kind of needing a vacation. That's all.
What time are you getting to the airport?
My flight is 10 o'clock on Tuesday, which is a good Jew day to travel, Christmas Eve.
Wait, what time though? 6?
Like, you gonna get there early, or you're gonna risk it a little
7?
bit? Risk it for the biscuit.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be judged, but let's just say like we'll have the car get us at for 7.
Okay.
That's honestly good timing for you. It's a international flight. You're probably like,
yeah, but you know what? With the kids, they really like security. They let you through. They like send you to the front.
Jeff,
They really do.
between the mobile pass NPC. You know what I'm talking about with NPC?
Yeah, my wife does that stuff.
Okay.
But
You
when
got
I
NPC.
fly alone, I forget to, and I feel like an idiot. But yeah. TSA with 3 kids, spare me. Yeah, it's not fun. But they also like bring you to the front pretty much. You got that stroller.
Exactly.
They wave you right through.
You're good,
you
man.
know, they pad you down. Look at your nuts. It's all cool. I support the security. I don't like taking my shoes off though. That's fucking disgusting.
I know. That's a more recent development at Pearson. Up
Yeah.
until like a couple years
Because
ago.
I would say
you keep
this,
your shoes
other
off.
than the hospital floor, I don't think there's a dirtier floor than the airport floor.
Who
like,
tried
I guess
to smuggle
subway
something in their
floor.
shoes that I have
Subway
to take
floor.
my shoes off now. That's what I really want to know. Who tried to bring something in across the border in their shoes? Because they fucked us all.
I've like snuck into Vegas nightclubs with drugs in my shoes. because I feel like they'll even go for the crotch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's just that's all.
They won't go for the shoes. Good to
Well,
know.
they're not. I don't know. Like, you ever seen a bouncer say like, "Take your shoes off"?
That would be very unusual.
Yeah, I mean, they must know you have a rep. Anyhow,
What if you wore like a Kevin Nash fake boot, cast, and you just rip it off in the club?
All right. I hope you and Hitman have like a fast-paced quarter, hit all your props.
Yeah, we'll be real fast-paced with Hitman because he's not here for the fourth quarter. But appreciate you anyways, Jeff.
Oh, who's doing the fourth quarter?
Austin's with me on the fourth quarter.
All right, support it. Listen, Austin, the New York Times, on a normal New York Times article, someone can read it to me.
Wait,
they'll play it to me.
Wait 1 second. Talk to him yourself. All right, let's have a face-to-face conversation here.
No, no. Hey, Austin, big fan. First time caller. Just wanted to say that I noticed on the New York Times, not that I'm a subscriber to that, but if they give you an article a month, they'll let me hit a play button where someone reads me the article. But on The Athletic, they don't. And I figured since we're owned by the same people, can someone just read me my Athletic articles? I'm so lazy. That's all. I just want someone to, that's all.
I'll put in a good word. Yeah, I'll shoot that up the ladder. That's way.
That's all. There. That's all. Just like Daniel Popper articles could be read to me. That's all.
Yep.
You know what's going to be
in like an AI voice.
The New York Times is going to take that feature away, and then you're going to be out of luck. That's what's going to happen here.
Well, I don't use the New York. I don't care. Like that wouldn't bother me, but I see it on the New York Times, and then all Athletic articles are like hyperlinked New York Times. So I'm like, if we're in the family here, like treat us like we're in the family.
I'll send it up the ladder. Chargers fan is worried.
The guy who smuggles drugs in his shoes wants to be read the stories. That should work. All right, Jeff. Have a good night, my man.
I know, Rob. Listen, I'm not trying to because reading is important. And you know me, so you're probably like, Feinberg needs as much reading as he can get. Like, don't read him stories, people. But that's all. Okay, boys. Austin, good chat.
Flower with a catch right there, buddy. He's very live right now. Very live. Jeff Feinberg, everyone. Austin, how are things? You still in Happy Valley? Or you back home now?
Still in Happy Valley. That's where I live.
Oh, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It's a big area. Happy Valley. A lot of people claim fame to it in central Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. How's the game? It's probably pretty cool though.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. It was one of those days where if like you didn't have wind, you were all right. But when the wind, I think the wind chill was like 9, 10, something like that. But I would say it was like a blowout. But like people actually stayed for a lot longer than I thought, because you think cold. I mean, maybe it was last game of the year type of thing where you want to stay. But like I was trying to get out of there.
What was the start time again? What was the start
time? Noon Eastern.
So they didn't have that much time at the tailgate and get like completely sauced, because the game I saw was noon Eastern as well. And
so the only other thing is like, what, you're just going to go to your tailgating spot after the game and freeze your ass off too. So like, although the beer's cheaper in the parking lot than in the stadium, but I don't know. Maybe it was just like, let's celebrate and watch the whole game. But like that game was over like halfway through the second quarter. I thought people were going to start filing out. Nobody did.
The game was over when SMU went for that fourth down and dropped the touchdown on the first drive of the game. That was officially sealed the deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was like the first. And then they had like, if you were an SMU fan, the glimmer of hope when Penn State went for it on fourth down on their own like 20. And then they immediately threw an interception. Like that was the final. This is it. Good. Thanks for coming out. You did. Here's your college football playoff like participation medal. There you go.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. I have the under in this game. I keep convincing myself that it's going to have some sort of chance, but it's cooked.
That's the under. I told you my brother-in-law is like, don't even tell me about any unders. You like, I don't want anything to do with them.
There's I think we're going to talk about it on Circle Back this week, but there's that Mr. Peanut Better guy on Twitter now who talked about sweating under half 3-pointers in NBA games. And he's like, you have to be like a real sick person to bet this bet and sweat it out. Like there's no worse sweat. And I was trying to think, because I've bet those before, and I was trying to think of what could be a worse sweat, and I actually think he nailed it. Like it's so bad. You're you're living on the knife's edge for the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things, definitely, like, depending on who the player is, like garbage time, or like maybe games like a little out of hand, it gets a little loose and guys just start firing threes up a little bit, like late, and you're just hoping that guy gets in like foul trouble, or like, let's get him out of here. Like maybe there's a vet edge, like they get him off the court quicker, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think I always say the ones, any under where you really literally have to sweat until the last second, no matter what. I think that might be it.
Drunken Goot says yellow card no in soccer. I could see that also being pretty shit. Yeah, anything where one outcome kills you, basically, is what it is. Like one singular play can destroy you. I remember when me and you were betting the NBA first to score stuff. Yeah. Those were real sick.
Those were totally different type of sweat though, because it was so fast. Like obviously it could be like 5 seconds and you're done, but like that's one of the more like thrilling bets out there. Like I don't like kind of similar to like roulette or like blackjack in a way, because like it is so fast. But then you do get the ones that last a couple minutes and you are like every possession you're dying. Like
there was a Raptors Hawks one, yeah. That lasted like 4 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
And it was actually Kyle Lowry who drained like it was an empty possession. They couldn't get a good look, and he just pulled up a jumper and he hit it.
And we won.
Was like,
I think
we won it. We won that.
Yes.
One.
Yeah.
But there were so many near misses on that. There was a couple missed layups. The Raptors missed like a couple putbacks.
If I remember, it wasn't like turnovers. Like there were shots on every possession. Yes. So it was like, oh, all right. Because it was such a fun bet, because like when your team got the ball, you were like, you felt invincible. And then as soon as they miss, it's like, oh shit, like here we go. Like you're panicking. But yeah, the ups and downs of that's one of the more fun markets out there.
I would say that it's fun when you win, but absolutely miserable when you lose.
Yeah. The worst is like if you lost the tip and the team went down and scored like within 5 seconds and you lost the bet. It was just like, wow, what did I like? What did I just come out here for?
Shooting foul on the first possession is the worst when you lose the tip. I
remember the Bucks, where I swear to God, their first possession was like, let's get Brook Lopez a 3, and it was like, this is terrible offense. So like, God, they were like the most frustrating team I remember. But
for people that don't know, NBA first to score used to be a market that was widely mispriced, because the books used to price them as a derivative of the full game and didn't really price in who was taking the tip off. We probably bet the Detroit Pistons to score first in almost every game of the season because of jump ball king Andre Drummond.
There it is.
I'll never forget that. He was like a 90% jump baller, and it was absurd.
Yeah, he was like pushing 80% or something. The worst part about how they priced those were like they'd be at like the Cavs, and they'd play at the Cavs, and there is home court advantage in that as well. But they're at the Cavs, say they'd be like plus 100. Market would move to like minus 130. And then they'd play the Cavs, same starting lineups, like 2 days later in Detroit. And they'd like open it at like minus 115. And it was like, did you not remember where the market went on this? But yeah, those were, the other one was, he lost his starting job. It was a sad day. Marcin Gortat for the Suns.
Yeah, Gortat. I remember. Yeah.
When he lost his starting job, I think it was the Alex Len, if I remember correctly. That was a sad day in the first NBA first score market for us.
Those were the days, man. And what was beautiful about that? How long ago was this? Like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago?
This was pre-COVID, so this was longer. Yeah, so I think it was like 2018, 2019-ish, around there.
The beauty was that there were so many shops that were offering it, but dealing widely different numbers as well.
Yeah.
If you recall.
Yep.
We were getting some absurd numbers.
Yeah, you'd have, and there were certain, like, somebody would open, it was like around like noon, and then like someone else would open at like 2, and it was not like copy. So there was always like a second chance if you missed. So yeah, it was a fun market to find. I miss it. It was a good time. Now it's like first basket. That's not.
I know.
It's not
the same. But it's also not the same when there's not massive edges that exist as well, right?
Yeah, I remember those Detroit Pistons, because the Pistons were terrible. So it was like directly, because I remember like Kevon Looney for the Warriors would like not jump. And if it was like Pistons versus Warriors, he was not, like, Looney was not good. And like literally the Pistons probably should be like minus 200. They'd be like plus 120 to like at the open. It was like, oh, thanks. This is nice. And like even when it would close, they would only close like minus 115, like still a huge edge.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nowadays, you could probably get like Giannis would have been a guy that would kill jump ball. But the beauty of Andre Drummond was that the Pistons sucked, but they were always going to get the first possession. Like they were a shit team, but you knew they were going to get the first possession so many times.
God, that was honestly, I was like, the days that he like got off, like he got the night off, was like, I was actually like slightly upset. Because it was like, I honestly, it was like, I knew it was never going to be a good price. Like there was never a chance that he was going to be priced appropriately. And I mean, this was like 2 years we had that, and they just never caught up to Andre Drummond because it was a direct derivative of the full game, and the Pistons were terrible. So yeah, that was fun.
Baker just got absolutely ragdolled. Like he got thrown to the ground incredibly hard. I wonder if this ball actually came out before he hit the ground. They're calling a fumble recovered by the defense.
This will be a mess.
He's down. He's down by contact.
Okay.
He's definitely down by contact at this point.
That was like the Bengals Browns first drive.
Yeah.
I never in my life did I think that was not a touchdown. And then somehow that angle, I was like, dang, that was like literally, you had like an inch of room, punched it out.
Yep. Right at the goal line. And then the Bengals went 99 yards. I had Bengals today. So I'm like, Jerome Ford.
The 65-yard run or whatever.
Jerome Ford unders, which lost as well by only by like 4 or 5 yards, even though he had a 60-yard run in the game. Absurd. Right. Yeah, there was a lot of it's the NFL, man. You just gotta. It's a lot of bullshit that happens.
Just gotta keep rolling.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of Baker Mayfield right now in the current state that he, not necessarily just tonight, but like, what's your opinion of him?
He's an above average quarterback.
I think that's correct, and I think he has like a super wide distribution, like more wide than your average, which makes the swings painful. Yeah. He's someone that, like, if you're getting pressure on him, I don't love it when he wants to improvise
like, a little bit. Yeah.
That's when he'll heat check himself. I know against the Chargers, was that last week, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, right? Or last week?
Last week they beat the Chargers.
Yeah. The Chargers played Thursday night. But that like throw rolling to his left, like he makes it. You're like, okay, there's the first overall pick in him. But then there's some where like he's doing some crazy stuff, and you're like, yeah, let's throw it away. let's get rid of the ball here.
He takes a lot of sacks for a guy that's surprisingly mobile and has good tackle play. You know,
he's he kind of he's like Jameis a little bit, but like he's if you took away the obsession with like forcing every throw, like he's a gunslinger, but like he's a smart gunslinger in a way. Like, that's like really what set him apart is he doesn't throw 9 billion interceptions.
Yeah, he had that. He had the 1 year in Cleveland when he was throwing tons of picks, and that was the year I think he had a shoulder injury, and the velocity wasn't there. But when he's playing like this, he's solid. Drunken Goon says Atlanta going to make the playoffs. It's possible. 4.5-point dogs at Washington next week, but I still don't know what to make of Penix. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, looked great today. It's the Giants. Don't really think I can take any meaningful conclusion away from that.
Yeah, and the Panthers are playing like pretty good ball right now. That's not a gimme by any means.
It's truly incredible to me that Todd Bowles kicked that field goal down 26-14, because now we're going to get into a situation here where the Bucs have to punt the ball and they're going to be still down 2 scores. Best case scenario, Dallas goes 3 and out and they get the ball back with like 7 minutes left, needing 2 scores. Just absurdly dumb decision by Bowles. Really, really dumb.
Yeah, he's I feel like sometimes he like it's always hard for, I feel like sometimes they just guess at these things. Like I think everybody has numbers behind it, but like I feel like at the end of the day a lot of these guys are just going off of vibes, and like I'm not really loving going for it right now because our offense hasn't been playing all that well today, so let's just kick it and get some points. Like there's no method to the madness.
Like the Lions are one of the best teams in terms of these decisions. And I think one of the reasons why is they actually know what they're going to do on 3rd down in addition to 4th down. Like they're just so, how many times do the Lions run on like 3rd and medium? And they still pick up the 1st down in a lot of the instances as well.
Yeah.
But
that happened in the Indiana Notre Dame game this week. The Indiana ran on like 3rd and 10, like on the plus side of the field, and they still, because they only got like 2 yards or something like that. And then I'm like, I understand it's situation dependent, but like it's also helpful when you're a really good running team to be able to do that. But you can see that they're planning, like that's probably in their head, like probably the series, like the 1st down before that, like, okay, hey, if we get to this yard line, on 3rd, if we have 3rd and long, or like obvious passing situation, we can probably run into a decent, like a lighter box and set up a better 4th down. You can just tell that they're 14-2, like they're a very well-oiled machine, who like has fun while they're playing because they're tripping and fake tripping and like trying these big plays. Like they're being innovative in like backyard football ways while also playing Madden. Basically.
So I tweeted today that I love that. I love that play with the Lions, the fake falling down and but they were smoking the Bears at that point.
Stupid.
Unless they are smart enough. I started to think about it more afterwards, and they are smart enough as a team to like maybe fake that play at some point down the like. It's like Ben Johnson is such a good OC, exactly, that he like puts stuff on tape that
like, hey,
they're playing
with
chess.
These guys.
Yeah,
it's
really
just like it's just one like annoying thing that you have to prep for. All the like the laterals that they've done. Like Penei Sewell was going to throw a pass earlier this year. Like you have to spend how many an hour of practice during a week, like prepping for all their, like whether it's formational stuff, like with eligible linemen or, everything like that. So yeah, it's just like that where it's like, we might not even use it against, like if the Vikings in week 18, if that's for the bye, like we might not even use it, but the Vikings are going to have to prep for it and be prepared. And we can, use that to our advantage. So yeah, they're a fun team. They're like I think they're the most fun team in terms of like, they're super aggressive on 4th down, usually make the right decision.
Yeah.
And are like doing innovative stuff on offense as well. Like they're all fun. It's too bad their entire defense has just gotten hurt over the last like 3 weeks.
I know they really did have. I mean, listen, they could still win the Super Bowl. Don't mean to like, give them a eulogy right now, but it does feel like at some point that defense is really going to let them down. Really going to let them down. That's got to be a holding on CeeDee Lamb there. He was definitely going to be free. Not for that play.
Yeah, the I don't know if I love them going up against the Eagles that much, or like even the Packers right now. Like, I mean, obviously the Vikings are there too. Like if Darnold played well today, I just like it just catches up to you. Like I saw a thing where it was like the IR people on IR this year, like rankings, and it was like all the playoff teams were like pretty much near the bottom, and like all the really bad teams are up near the top. And I'm like, so much of the game is how healthy are you going into the playoffs? Like the Chiefs against the Bucks in the Super Bowl, the COVID year, like their offensive line was decimated, and Mahomes was running for his life that entire Super Bowl.
Yep, that was the only real time that I can remember where you kind of knew early that Mahomes was toast. It just wasn't going to happen for them that year. That was a tough one.
Was that Eric Fisher got hurt in the AFC Championship game?
It was.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the one. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, DJ Humphries didn't play this week. They lost Jawan Taylor, I think, to injury this week as well. So they're kind of going through it this year. I did feel like the offense looked more dynamic with Marquise Brown there. It felt like a different offense.
I saw some people saying like, well, they had Worthy all year to be that, and I'm like, I don't like. He's a rookie. He's not quite what Brown, and maybe just like two of those guys making things more difficult as well. But Brown's like a proven deep threat that like they could not throw downfield at all. So yeah, which makes me think back, like Rashee Rice was having a hell of a start to the year. Like if he was healthy and like you get Hollywood Brown back and Kelsey for a playoff run, it's like, man, they've built a good team. But yeah, they're a little they're patching it together for Mahomes to do his typical third down God mode.
It is insane how much better he is on third down than everyone else. Like if it's a high leverage play, he's just insanely good. I want to ask you this question because we talked about this a little bit on the stream earlier. Want your opinion. Who deserves a bigger contract, Purdy or Darnold?
Man. So I think they're both benefiting from a really good offensive personnel, and a really good offensive mind. Like I think O'Connell's awesome too. Like Shanahan's proven. I think I'd probably have to just go with Darnold because, and maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. It's not like let me say that who deserves a bigger contract? Like Purdy's going to get that. I think I'd rather have Darnold on the money that he's probably going to get versus Purdy, if I frame it that way, just because like there's more tools there. Purdy was like the reason he was the last pick in the draft he was that for a reason. So I don't know if Darnold's going to probably move on from Minnesota, I imagine. So I don't know if I love what situation he's going into, but I think he could play out exactly like Baker though. Like I really do. Like I think it's very similar career path.
I'm with you. I would be more likely to give Darnold big money than I would Purdy personally. I think they're both benefiting from scheme for sure. I could see a disaster for either of those guys if they end up in the wrong spot with like a bad OC. But I would lean Darnold on that. Darnold has more arm talent than Purdy does.
Yeah.
You see honestly, Darnold played so well today. Like the amount of shots he took in the pocket while unleashing like incredibly accurate balls downfield.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good quarterback performance.
When he got, was it the game-winning touchdown? He got crushed like the play before, or was it the play that it was the play before, I think. Like he was like hurting, getting up, and then like he steps up and like throws it on the run, drops a diamond to Jefferson there. And I'm like, yeah, see, he's like, not to like trash the Jets, but like you go from like he had to mature through this terrible system. And I'll say the same thing with Bryce Young. Yeah. Like he was in a terrible position last year. Look at it like this year, it got off to a little bit rocky start. They kind of reset it. I think Canales is pretty good as an offensive mind, and like, oh, he's been playing better. Like It's going to be very dependent on where they go, but I think Darnold could easily be like a Baker or Geno Smith type.
Yeah.
He's going to probably demand that money. But like I was thinking like is like Vegas is not in a position, like I'm trying to think of like where to go. Like where would you want to go for like teams that need a quarterback? Like Cleveland? Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't know what they're going to do. So
Marcus said KOC had Josh Dobbs playing. This is not a fair comparison because Josh Dobbs played well for a few games and then eventually wasn't even the starter and Nick Mullins took over and he didn't have Nick Mullins playing well. And if we're going to do that game, like Kyle Shanahan had Jimmy Garoppolo playing as the top EPA per play quarterback in the league as well. Like,
you have to do. Darnold's done it over a big enough sample.
Yeah.
Like these guys can come in for like that's like the whole thing, right? Get a backup quarterback that can hold it together for a month if your starter goes out with something. Just not a guy that you want to be playing, for 17 games. So yeah, I don't know what the QB market's going to be. Like I'm trying to think of like who.
Like so, Mark, I'm seeing the comments here. So like we're talking sample size, and Marcus says Purdy's sample is larger. Purdy's not been good this season. Like he is trended downhill for this year. He doesn't have the same arm strength. Can't throw into tight windows. I don't know. Like there's to me a big natural talent gap between the two. And I'll talk like
sure.
we can maybe cancel out scheme for both of them and say they're both operating in good spots. But
yeah, I'm with you. I think like one, I don't know how much more we want to say Purdy's sample size is. Like how many games did he start that first year? Was like half the season. Can't remember exactly what it was, but like if you want to say like he's had 25 games of like really good play. Darnold's had 16. So it's not like it's a world of difference here.
If you take Purdy and Darnold and you run them through the last 2 years of sample, they're going to be number 1 and number 2 in EPA per play in the league. Top 2. Their numbers ahead of Josh Allen, who's number 3, Dak Prescott number 4, Tua number 5. That's where they're at right now. Are Purdy and Darnold better than Allen? No. Obviously, they're benefiting from scheme in some capacity. Surely, Purdy not having Trent Williams is hurting him this year. Anyone's going to struggle without left tackle. I get it. But in the case of both of these questions that we have, or all these questions that we have about them, I would just take who I consider to be the better athlete generally.
Yeah.
And I think that's Darnold.
Yeah. And like, even if you want to say like mobility wise, they're pretty similar. Like, I don't think Purdy has the ability to throw on the run that Darnold does. Like, and that's just, it comes down to arm talent. There's a reason Darnold was like a top 10 pick and Purdy was the last pick of the draft. And so like, I think maybe he's playing himself out of that range, but I think there was like an argument that Purdy was going to get 50+ million.
Baker just threw a pick to downfield in the end zone to McMillan. I'm not going to say what could possibly be happening here. Still 6 minutes left. Also, Vikings lost Darisaw. Good point, but they traded for a left tackle, albeit worse.
Yeah, I just think you're seeing that Purdy. I'm not going to sit here and say that like he's following the Jimmy G track, but like there are limitations to even when you're in good personnel to when you're not like a like stud arm, stud like mobility, whatever you want to call it. But and that's the other thing. Like, yeah, I think Darnold's going to kind of come back to earth probably. And I think that's so I've seen some people saying like, oh, they should trade McCarthy and go on. I'm like, I think it's like
the problem is what the dollar amount, right? Like, can KOC turn McCarthy into a Darnold at a much cheaper cost? Likely, I don't want to say likely, but there's a decent probability that can happen.
Well, and even if you want to say like, even if he doesn't get to where one, and this is what's never talked about in these like problems is one, the difference, like say McCarthy plays at like a top 12-ish quarterback next year, which is below where Darnold is. Like the money that they can make up in like maybe say the $20 million difference with other pieces on the team, maybe that bridges that gap. But also, like, would you expect Sam Darnold to play at this level again? Like, you know, like did we get the peak out now? Another offseason where teams can adjust to the scheme and everything. You kind of have to like, do you think this is like, I would say like Geno kind of had that, like his first year in Seattle was really good. And then last year wasn't as great. This year has been up and down, I guess. So it's one thing, like there's a reason these guys are in that $30 million quarterback tier. Cause it's like, you're probably not going to be a top 5 quarterback every year.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to fundamentally disagree on this, but Purdy is a better QB than Herbert. We might as well just stop the conversation there. There's not a single NFL general manager that would take Brock Purdy over Justin Herbert. It's not even remotely close. Like we can end the conversation now because there's some sort of bias that's happening here, or just like lack of understanding of the game at this point. Frankly, I hate to be like, we cannot go there.
I think the easiest point there, and again, I'm not like equating Purdy to Jimmy G here, but like Jimmy G was really good for the 49ers. Like, yeah, I think people like quickly forget that he was posting top 3 EPA numbers. Purdy has been better, not this year, but Purdy, like the last 2 years, has been better than what Jimmy G was doing in San Fran. But like we saw what happened when Jimmy G went away from San Fran. Like, does anybody say that like the Chargers have had an amazing offensive personnel when Herbert's been there? Like, look who he's throwing to. Like,
yeah, but Cooper just tried to give the game away. Thank God that was dropped. Thank God. But like, and just to keep going down this path, like you can't say you're blinded by the quarterback's physical tools, because that is so much of the quarterback position. There's a reason that really good college quarterbacks cannot excel in the pros, because they don't have the physical tools to do so. So yeah, you can say Purdy's better at going through his progressions. If you can't make the throw, you can't make the throw. Herbert can fucking zing it in there better than most quarterbacks in the league. It's insane.
Can I just jump in here and say, like, the way that Shanahan builds that offense for Purdy makes it easier for him to do those things as well, which is kind of the entire point behind all this. Like,
it's the same rationale. It's the same thing with Tua, right? And how the offense is just completely catered to his limitations as a quarterback. You can't put that guy. You could put Justin Herbert in any offense in the league, and he's going to be able to run it at a near elite level, at least a very good level to elite. You cannot do that with quarterbacks like Purdy, with Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff. Like that's just not going to happen with these guys.
Yeah. I think the EPA. I think as good as EPA is a team stat. It's a scheme stat. Like a lot of it, it's not just the quarterback. So I think a lot of times, like I say with like Mahomes, it's like, oh, if you want to look at like straight up EPA charts, Mahomes isn't up there. But like, what if you're drafting one? If everybody was a free agent in a draft pool, who you taking 1-1? Patrick Mahomes. Like it doesn't. And that's the other thing. Like okay, perfect. We'll segue into this. I did this with friends last year. Like if everybody was a free agent, it was like, what's the, like, obviously it's like Mahomes and then Allen, who's the third quarterback taken? And then who and when is the first non-QB taken? Not to put you on the spot, but do you got answers there?
Who's the first non-QB taken?
Well, who's your third? So if I assume it's Mahomes and then Allen, like 1-2.
And this is accounting for age.
Yeah, you get them on like
age,
same rookie
contract.
Yeah. Well, let's just say they get like the rookie scale that they get now. Everybody gets on that. Like, just who's your third? And it's gonna be quarterback, but who?
So I would take Joe Burrow.
Okay. That was
people think I would be in. There's lots of people who are big time Burrow haters. I actually don't get it, man. The guy is sick.
Yeah, I think he was slightly overrated there for a minute because of like they beat Mahomes.
Well, he's not Mahomes tier, but
right.
He's not.
No, but
but
I think people were putting him like into that, and I don't think he was there yet. And I still don't think he is.
He gets a ton of equity. Not saying he's bad, but he gets a ton of equity for making a playoff run early in his career.
100%.
He gets
and he almost
beat
lost.
Mahomes.
Like he took like 9 sacks against the Titans in that playoff game, right? He didn't even have a great playoffs, but you beat Mahomes, and that's it. That's all it takes sometimes. Burrows is the guy for me. I would consider both Herbert and Lamar Jackson in like the next spot.
Without QB, so
five.
I like Austin's question where it's like, who's what position are you drafting first? That's non QB, and who's it going to be? Like, do you go?
So I had this
receiver,
conversation.
do you go edge rusher, like left tackle.
I had this conversation when Prescott was attempting to get paid, and it was like people are like, "Oh, he's not worth $60 million," and like that whole discussion. And I'm like, I don't know, how many quarterbacks are you drafting before this? So this is what started that. Like, when do you take a non QB, and who is it? It was a really interesting, like. I don't know. Like, are you taking Jared Goff before like the top left tackle or edge or whatever you like?
That's a good question.
It gets real weird.
I could probably solve this at some point. Like I'm taking Micah Parsons over half the quarterbacks in the league.
Right. Like, so that was I came to like, we went through it. I can't remember exactly. I think it was like around 11 is when you really started to like. I think 11, like for sure, somebody's coming off the board, and like you can make an argument beforehand. But like the Tuas, the Jared Goff tier,
yeah.
But like Jordan Love's an interesting one. Like, is Jordan Love or Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett or whoever?
TJ Watt, not TJ Watt.
But is that where like that's where it gets really difficult for me?
Love's a tough one for me because I feel that Love is probably the most overrated quarterback around, but I think he's in such a good position that I'm going to end up with egg on my face regardless for that type of situation.
Okay, so Dak.
Dak is a top 10 quarterback.
Right, yeah, so I agree. But some people would be like, I would probably take Parsons over Dak. I've heard people say that, and I think that's nuts because I think Dak is kind of like basically the way that I tier it is like, is your QB not system dependent? And like kind of what you were saying about Herbert, you can plug him in anywhere. I think Dak is someone that you can plug in and get pretty good quarterback play no matter what. And I think that those guys have to be taken before any non QB, but it gets real weird.
Yeah.
What like?
Okay. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to this argument because So we're going to ignore the best QB of the last 50 years being ignored because he lacked the physical tools upside. He didn't lack the upside. Tom Brady could fucking sling a ball over the course of his career. And in fact, I mean, you listen to Tom Brady talk now, he's the worst commentator ever. But when you realize the amount of physical training he went through for an offseason, yes, he's like a slow white guy, but he could throw a ball with some serious velocity.
And also you want to compare edge rushers throughout his career compared to edge rushers now, like the whole game changed. Like you didn't have to like Peyton Manning was amazing. He was one of the least like it's a totally different game now. There's a reason that Jared Goff is not like that elite tier. And like Jared Goff has a pretty good arm. Like he can rifle it in there, but like he has no mobility at all. And that limits your ability there. So like it's one of those things where like the era changes. Like you didn't need to be 20 years ago, you didn't need to be athletic because it was just straight pocket passing type of thing.
Yeah. This is going to be a sweat for me here at the end of the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always is, man. Unders. They're never safe. Never safe. Is Parsons your first non-QB?
I would have to think about it a lot more. I would consider Justin Jefferson. I would consider it could go lots of ways here.
Hutchinson, because he's relatively younger, right? Like, no, not there yet.
No. There's probably at least a few other D linemen I would consider over
TJ Watt.
I think Justin Jefferson's my guy.
Yeah,
he's just like he just does it all from like the wide receiver position.
Myles Garrett, yes, but Myles Garrett has suffered so many injuries now in recent years, and it feels like he his best
on the
days are
edge.
behind him.
Yeah.
I don't know what's his age. I don't know off the top of my head, but like I don't know if I really want a defender that's like pushing 30 or is over 30.
20. He's 29. He's turning
Yeah,
29.
so I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Probably.
taking. I don't know if I'm really in love. Like I would like Micah Parsons is what 25, 20, maybe 26.
Is he that young?
I think he was like
26.
21.
I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah,
Wow.
he was drafted the COVID year.
Yeah.
He hasn't even been paid yet. He hasn't got that contract yet. That's coming up. So yeah, like I would take him over Garrett because I think you're getting similar production in someone who's 3-4 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if I can go defense. As important as edge rusher is, I think you can like. It's easier to put an edge rusher by committee in and be successful than like wide receiver by committee. Yeah, and I think that's my difference there.
There's no.
Although if Aaron Donald was still there, I'd maybe
Donald would be a different story. There's no franchise left tackle that's like still in the early stages of their career right now, where it's like a bona fide got to take this guy.
Yeah,
I should pose this to Eager. Honestly, he would probably already have this problem sorted.
Yeah, I was saying I could go through it and probably put together a good, like maybe that's an off-season project for myself. But
it's tough for me. Because right now I have the players valued within the confines of their team and their scheme, right? So it's something I would have to do differently. But yeah.
It's not ever a realistic problem, but I guess it's realistic and not. I mean, free agency in the NFL is like not that big, so it's not really. But like it is basically trying to find free agency. But yeah, it's just a fun like. It was going through because so many people hated on Dak. That was like the question when he was in his contract discussions this summer. I was like, what number? Like Jordan Love tier? Like, because I think he's probably like above Tua in like Goff. But yeah, like I was outside of like 7 or 8 guys. Like it's kind of like, all right, do you want to tie yourself to that quarterback or do you want to kind of build up? Like the difference between like a Tua in Goff versus like a Baker or Darnold, like if you obviously, you then have to hire a good staff and everything, but
2nd and 4, the Dallas 13 here. I would really love if Bulls would decide to kick a field goal.
Kick field goal? What number do you have?
A touchdown will nuke me.
Okay.
I think anyone who bet the total in this game, it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah.
Based off of the score.
Yeah.
Wide open touch. Well, it lasted longer than it should have. Was a good sweat. That was a free rusher too on Baker. Got it through there. Ryan Miller. This is also going to nuke the SGP, unfortunately.
Hooked. The old hook.
Could we get a missed PAT? A one-time?
Yeah. If anyone in the chat wants to use it, drop a one-time in the chat.
I would love for a missed PAT. Write down. All right.
Damn.
Not a good score.
So now, do you have anything else to root for?
Cowboys money line right now.
Okay. I was gonna say, is it the it's like a win-win. They get a better draft pick if they
I know, I don't really want to be rooting for them, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah,
we've had a couple SGPs here in the last week that have been hurt by late touchdowns. This one and then the Monday night one was tough because we had Cam Akers last TD. And then Caleb threw it into Keenan. Oh, it got deflected too. It got deflected.
Man.
Xera's question, how many yards has Cooper Rush thrown for in this half? Roughly 60, 63, something like that. 60.
Yeah, I mean, they only have 313 yards. I mean, they've only ran 50 plays, but not great.
Yeah. Andy says brutally looks like a totally different dude out there. Well, no, it's the game state, right? The Bucks didn't score right until now. Basically, they kicked a field goal earlier, but it's the game state. If he had to sling it, he'd sling it. So you need to kind of, when you're playing with the alt of Cooper Rush alternate yards, you need the Bucks to keep up. Or else it's just getting. Which position should the Cowboys draft? They should just draft the best available player. I don't know how you feel about that.
Unless it's a running back. Are you on board with that at like 12-ish?
Sorry, including position scarcity, I would say.
I was going to say, it's a stacked running back class. So, like Ashton Genty from Boise State's going to be the first guy.
Yep.
And like he's kind of like, I think on like most big boards, he's like a top 10 player. So there's been some like early first half of the first round. I don't think he'll go that quick, but because they drafted Zeke, everybody's mocking the Cowboys, and they don't have a running back. Although Rico's been good. He's been good this year.
I'm okay going forward with Dowdle. I mean, I always look. I would look for running backs in later rounds, anyways. There's the guy from North Carolina I know is pretty highly touted. Yeah. Hampton. There's Iowa's running back, Caleb Johnson. A few guys from Ohio State are going pro.
Yeah, there's a bunch of running backs that you'll get in the mid rounds.
So I played this game with friends earlier. What team ahead of Dallas would take a running back? Cleveland, maybe, and that's about it.
There's a realistic chance that Genty could drop to Dallas be picking in like the early teens.
Yeah. Like, let's say it finishes out 12, 15.
I don't think he can go fifth if Cleveland stays. If we're assuming this order,
because like if you go,
we know Carolina's not drafting.
Carolina's not drafting. Giants aren't drafting. New England probably not drafting. They have Stevenson still, and they need way more than a running back.
Well, everybody needs way more. It's just like
that's true. Yeah,
who really wants a running back?
Vegas, maybe. Are they dumb enough to do that? Like they could be.
Yeah. Vegas needs a lot more.
Jets no, Chicago no.
Dallas is just a natural fit there.
It's just there, yeah.
Could the Cowboys draft Josh Simmons and then move Guyton over to right tackle, or play Simmons at right tackle?
Yeah, he's off an ACL. That'd be should be good to go then. But I think that's probably the move, because there's not a ton of like high end offensive line or offensive tackle talent. So that it's going to be a weird draft. Like last year was what? How many players were drafted before a defensive player? Like 12?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Like
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. This will not be that year. There's going to be quite a bit of defensive guys drafted, because there's like two quarterbacks that I don't even think are truly like top 5 picks, but because there's no quarterbacks, they're going to go. So yeah, I'm with you. I draft best player available that's at a premier position. It's not a reach. Like if there's a good,
come on, Ferguson. Oh, great tackle. Vita Vea just smoked Justin Ferguson.
Yeah, if you're the Cowboys, just take the best player. It's not a running back.
This is Bucks are going to win the game, right? Cowboys should go for it here. The Cowboys have a better chance of picking up a first down on 4th and 2 than they do of getting a stop at this point.
It's probably feels right. It feels right.
Yeah.
What's 4th and 2? It's got to be like 55%, or you think it's higher than that?
I honestly probably
I don't know.
Let's
I was just thinking, I was equating it to a 2-point conversion. It's lower.
Yeah. For the Cowboys offense, probably lower.
Yeah, it's probably true. I was thinking like 2-point conversion is pretty close to 50-50, slightly above. And then with more field, maybe give it a little bit extra juice. But yeah, I probably wasn't factoring in the Cowboys offense enough.
Oh, Palmer, good return too. This feels really bad. Feels like a turnover needs to be incoming here. Feels bad. I guess the good news is always draft pick equity.
Yeah,
There's
the like, what would you say what odds would you need to bet that the Bucs don't attempt a field goal here? Like the Cowboys stop them on 4 downs before they get to the field goal range.
Well, okay, that's a good question. So, I mean, we could look at live markets for this, right? So Tampa's minus 120 in live market when they're getting the ball here. There would include some probability of a missed field goal in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do think, oh my God, Mayfield, what a play. Unbelievable, dude. Oh, stripped it. Cowboys ball. They stripped it.
Oh
my God, what a play. Oh my God.
Wow.
Deron Bland. He ripped it right out of his hands. Baker has no idea what happened because he just made such an amazing play to get rid of the ball to avoid a sack. And it got
like he's on top of the world.
Right out of Bucky Irving's hands. Oh, Rachaad White, sorry. Wow.
Man.
Incredible play. That's game, Hendricks.
That's it.
That is the game.
Man, it's such a shame that I feel bad for Baker. I do love the clean strip. Like when it's like the strip that just goes straight to possession. I'm all about that.
Amazing.
Like it's so clean. And like nobody knows what's going on for like 3 seconds. It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that was great. Now we just got to sweat the kneel downs. I wonder, has that bet amongst friends been decided? The kneel downs one?
I feel like it's 2025's when it ends, but maybe I'm wrong.
What is this? I forget.
One of our two of our mutual friends have made a bet at some absurd odds.
It was like
there won't be a fumble on a kneel down to over the next
1,000 to 1 or something like that.
It's literally to win $5, but one guy wanted to make the other guy.
No, I think it's either 5 or 10, but like the payout's like 10 grand if it hits there or something like that. But like, because what's funny is I remember, I think Rob, you did it too. Like we were like looking up kneel down stats. I was like, all right, how many kneel downs are a year? Like, because we wanted to price this. We're like, how many years?
It was Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers fumbled a kneel down snap, and they lost the game to the Chiefs outright. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's going to be it. Tampa's not using the timeouts.
They don't have any.
Cowboys win. Oh, the broadcast shows that they have one. No, they just stripped it off. It's not even on there anymore. Graphic on the broadcaster showed one for the entirety of the last 2 minutes of this game. Austin, thanks very much. Happy holidays.
Pleasure, man.
Enjoy it.
Happy holidays as well.
All right. Austin Mock, The Athletic, everyone. That's going to be it for me. There is a circle back dropping on Christmas Eve, 24th. You'll want to see that. Of course, I'm back here tomorrow for Monday Night Football. Not a great game. Join me anyways. I'm going to watch it. Packers Saints. Maybe we'll try to win some money in play. And of course, tomorrow afternoon. Actually, do we even have a show? Jason, you let me know if we have the afternoon show tomorrow.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick rundown of the week at Forward Progress here.
Let's do
Monday, we have no show during the day tomorrow. It's just going to be the Monday Night Football watch along. Tuesday, December 24th and the Wednesday, December 25th. We are off both days. So no Wednesday best bets. Don't worry. The Wednesday best bets show will be moved to Friday. Friday, friends. Friday. So then taking a step back Thursday, No Thursday night preview, but we will do a Thursday night football watch along. So expect that. So we're still doing all the watch alongs this next week. We're still going to have our best bets show. It's just going to be moved to Friday. So a lot of the pre-recorded stuff isn't going to happen, but the live watch alongs, because you guys love it so much, we're going to stick through and do those. So, and then also, of course, Hitman's Prop Show. We don't know what time yet, but probably Saturday a.m. TBD.
It's going to happen, though.
It's going to happen at some point. Just turn notifications on YouTube. Turn notifications on Forward Progress HQ on Twitter. If you don't follow us, then go follow us, because I always tweet out 30-minute heads up of when we're going to drop the video. I think we were 1-1 this week. So it's been hot. It's been hot. We lost the VIG, but it's
lost the VIG. Juiced up. It's been a good year. It's been a good year. I will see everyone back here tomorrow. As a reminder, smash that like button on the way out the door. Helps us grow our audience. And if you can, let other people know about this, especially going into the playoffs. If you have friends who are going to watch the games, tell them to turn on this stream in the background. Let's try to get a new audience over the course of the playoffs. Appreciate all the nails in the chat tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in. Sucks that we got hooked on that SGP, but it is what it is. Overall, decent night on the props. Brandon Cooks goes over, and Rico Dowdle. No, not Rico Dowdle. Who else did we play individually? Bucky Irving lost. Oh, we got our boy, Payne Durham, over as well. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This has been Forward Progress Sunday Night Football Watch Along presented by FanDuel. I'll see everyone back here tomorrow night. Peace out.